It's a CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okila, and this is House of Talent Television. Welcome to the program this week. I know all of you guys are wondering, it's changed time from 11 to 12? What's going on? Well, sometimes we make an exception for the guest. And the guest coming back on the show today on part 2. He was on the show about a week ago. 16 years or so at Makerere University, the so-called the Great University of Africa. Once the greatest university of Africa. We don't know whether we're still there. But he's been on that street and living there, going to refactory his way is now at Clark International University. We'd like to take this moment to welcome Mr. Michael Niyitegeka back on the show on part 2 while we discuss rethinking education and of course repositioning education for purpose. Michael, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Eddie. Pleasure being able to be back. And thank you for inviting me. I hope that is an endorsement that there was a lot of value in what I shared.
Yes, there was a lot of value in what you shared, obviously, and people loved it, and so many people voted and says, "Can we have a part 2 of Michael coming back to the program?" And we want to just discuss a few things that you touched very, deeply last time, or you scratch on the surface, and this time around we want to focus on the CEO Bench, looking for people on the top. You were on the top at Makerere University, and you were handling quite a number of things then, and you left and you went to, family, staying home for sometimes, doing your own things, and then before we know it, you were at refactory. Or at Clark International University and doing the same thing again, but this time around from a different perspective altogether, skilling people. Now, the CEO Bench looks at people who have been on the top, are on the top, or are going to the top, and when they are coming back from the top, they are managing change. What kind of change are they managing? How do we deal with this change? So we discussed this quite a bit on the CEO Bench, just basically give us a learning of, picking, from you guys who have been up there, done that. What lesson can we pick from you? How do we position ourselves to keep learning from you guys going forward? And so the show today is focusing on the education system and the repurposing of education system, as you would like to put it normally. So to start with, Michael, our education system that we know, that the British left with us, seems to be teaching us only how to operate the machine and not to create the machine itself. Is that the case?
The easier part is to blame.
Okay.
Because blame takes away responsibility.
Okay.
And for me, it's like I said, it's the easier part. The harder part is to do it different. Because once you've done with the blaming, then what next? Because we can blame everybody else you really think is extremely critical. But what next? And I think for me that's the most important thing. So has the education system, or what the British left us, has it evolved? Has it given us the impetus for us to reflect and rethink what we need to do? I think yes, there is need for us, and probably the time has long gone, if I could put it that way. We should have done that maybe about 20 years ago. Fit for purpose. And I'll give examples where I think we blame ourselves. We got to know that we have oil in this country in I can't quite remember the time when we had the first discovery pronounced.
It's actually believed that it was known in the Oboti one.
Exactly.
In 1960, I think it was 68.
And until 2000 something, I think before I left Makerere, we didn't have any program for oil and gas.
Oil, Wow.
Yeah.
But we've known this thing for all this long.
We knew that there was oil. We knew probably going to be an opportunity.
Yeah.
We knew these opportunities required expertise,
Yeah.
but we never acted. Like even when entities like Talo and that started doing a bit of going beyond just discoveries to setting up, it took us another 10 years to have a degree program set up.
Wow.
So do I want to still blame the colonialist?
Certainly not. I mean,
Not.
it's something we want to do here.
Yeah, because technically what should have happened is if you don't have the competence or the capacity, is hire the people to come and set up the program for you. Yeah. Equip you, give you the skill, then they take off.
Yeah.
So our inability to move from where we are to where we should have been, I can't entirely blame it on the colonialists. They gave us a handle.
Yeah.
The question is, do you stay onto that handle or do you use that handle to move to the next level?
Yeah.
That's the first bit. The other example that I always give is, so when I had an opportunity, when I was still in Makerere University, we built our IT programs based on what you call the Association of Computing Machinery Framework, which is a US-based framework.
Yeah.
Now, that US-based framework identifies 5 computing disciplines. It identifies computer science, information technology, information systems, computer engineering, software engineering. These are 5 disciplines in computing.
Which is very important. They're the core.
Okay, so they are tracks, they're actually professions, each of them.
Yeah.
Now, each of these 5 is an industry in the US.
And for us here, each of them is not.
Each of these 5 is an industry.
Yeah.
Now, we picked that framework, brought it here, and implemented it wholesome.
As one unit?
No, as 5 different
as 5
programs.
different units, yes.
Now, when you look at the way our industry is structured in the region, not just Uganda, Africa, I don't think you have 5 distinct industries. What is happening is that each of these guys that graduate from university then end up and converge into a place called software engineering. So all these guys are converging into something they call software engineering. Now what that means is that you are educating people for a convergence point, but yet you are, because they are trained as professionals. It's
in each discipline.
In each discipline, it's trained as a profession. Now because of that, that convergence, then people get disappointed. Because the opportunities have not necessarily been IT, information systems. Actually, Makerere has merged 2, information systems and information technology into one.
Wow.
So that for me is some of the things that we need to. What do we want our people to do for us in our market? How is the structure? The person who has trained as an electrical engineer, where are they working? If you're trained as an agricultural engineer, I come from Fort Portal where we have tea estates, and one of the challenges they have is finding agricultural engineers on the estate.
Well, yet we are producing these guys.
They're graduating.
They're graduating from universities. We're channeling them out.
So those are the disparities that we have in our ecosystem.
Wow.
Now, and all this requires us to be very intentional in spending time in industry to understand what is industry looking for.
Which is what you call fit for the purpose.
Fit for purpose, yes.
Right. Michael, that said, by the way, I just wanna, is that a question of us from, I'm just listening to you from the 5 pillars of the computing disciplines, and then you're saying you picked it from the US, you brought these things here, and you trained each of these people, and they went and converged in one thing called software engineering.
Well, those are the opportunities.
Yes, which is available.
Yeah,
that's what the market has offered for them.
A couple of years ago, we had guys who were doing networking.
Yes.
Networking was one of the... Okay, you didn't have a degree to... You didn't require a degree for you to be able to do cabling.
Yes.
But you see, that has been replaced by Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so I can
so
come...
some of us who did CCNA, we are no longer...
Yeah, you no longer need to do trunking and all that kind of stuff.
Basically, I'm obsolete. I mean,
to an extent, you're still relevant.
Yeah.
But probably what used to be extremely very important is changing very fast.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
In terms of the roles. Now, does that require a degree? Probably not. It requires a diploma, and you're good to go.
Yeah. So that's what you're saying, that we need to, fit for purpose, rethink this thing, and put it for the purpose that the industry is looking for.
Exactly.
Now, that said, Michael, why is it that it's taking us so long? We want to borrow from you. You were, in university and still really in the university. Of course, this time around, we're seeing you talk about skilling more than it was, at the great University of Makerere of East Africa. The question here, therefore, is how come it's taking us so long and we're not seeing it? Is it because the people in academia are not seeing it? Is it because of the policies that we have from the government point of view and not sort of like bringing this together? What is it that we're not doing right?
I think the bigger challenge is who is in the conversations.
Yeah.
That is the bigger challenge.
Okay.
I always ask, our children have gone through our education system, primary. You look at the amount of content they study, like in social studies, Nyamwiru, Nyamwamba, Moanga, those things.
Yes.
One time I was traveling with my daughter from Fort Porto, and we get to Mitiana, and I say, hey, Michelle, see Lake Wambala, and it's like, wow, very close here, there's a big hole. If you go there in Mubende, you will disappear because there is Walumbe. And I'm like, sweetheart, I wish you knew that stuff actually is let me not disappoint you.
At your level, you're hearing this thing and the reality is striking you in the face.
Because when we're studying it, of course, you used to think there's a guy who is going underground and he's moving. Of course, it made a lot of sense then. But the question is, so what do I want to have my daughter, who is in primary, deal with? Because yes, and we can argue that maybe because she's in Kampala, she's exposed a little bit more. But even the guy who is up country, the guy who is in the village school, how can I make them become socially responsible? Because that's the essence of social studies, really. That you have socially responsible citizens being groomed.
Which in tandem will give you what we're looking for.
Exactly. So in this era that we are in, because I'm sure there was a time when belief in other gods or other powers was very important. The god of the rain, the god of the sun, the god of whatever.
But the question here is, Michael, just to interject, I don't see how relevant that is, because it's not a reality of things. It's not a reality. It doesn't help me with. It's where does it fit?
Probably, Eddie. That's what I'm trying to say. Probably there was a time when that was relevant. Probably there was a time when that was relevant. You get it? We can talk about the Uganda areas and how it was built from Mombasa to here. But where is it? You get it? So, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't learn how Uganda came into existence. We definitely need to have the history around how the Riri came into Uganda and that whole thing. But the broader aspect is we should be asking ourselves, at the end of 7 years of introduction to social studies. Are these guys socially responsible? Do they understand the value of elections? Do they understand the value of boundaries? Do they understand the value of what are those things that every person needs to have? So that by the time they go to secondary school, because they're now teenagers, they have another level of thinking and understanding. That would be, that's how to approach it. Same as, let's say, science. What are those things that they can relate with? I know they're making sense.
Yes, you're making a lot of sense. So that, I'm trying to process that information.
Yes, so that in the day-to-day life, they're able to see the application of science. The challenge we have is that a lot of these things remain very abstract.
Because there is no practical ability of this, we don't
exactly.
practice of it.
Exactly. Because then they can see the real value. They can see the real value. I've seen children who you take to upcountry and you say, the milk you drink actually comes from here. And they're like, no. Because in their education,
there is no
they have
between the two.
Not seen that relationship. But they will tell you the value of milk, calcium, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so man, I can go on and on.
No, it's actually very good. This is CEO Bench. We are talking to Mr. Michael Niyitegeka about repurposing education to fit the need of our times. You know, we are talking about these things and look like, you know, it's not serious, but these are really very serious stuff. You have a son, a daughter. How do they reason? Given the education you are now giving them right now, how are they reasoning with whatever they have right now? Forget about COVID-19 coming and setting us apart and, you know, putting us like miles way back from where we were. Maybe COVID has actually just presented us opportunity to be able to rethink about some of the things that Michael is talking about. And Michael, just before we take a break, I want to just, you know, pose this question to you. I know I wanted you to answer it, but where are we not getting it right? And how can we get back to these things that you've highlighted to actually start saying, you know what, these are the things we need to do? Because we have some really good brains in academia space, and we have some really, Uganda has some of the most educated people on planet Earth, I'm told.
Well, yes. I'm not sure we have the most.
I mean, the people from the northern part of Uganda had, there are so many educated people, really serious degrees, and now we're beginning to see some of them in central Uganda and some of them in western Uganda. How come we're not taking advantage of this?
Yeah, so education is positioned from, the value of education has largely been based on academic ability.
Yes.
So ability to pass the exam. Yeah. That has been the basis of education. Yeah. If I could put it that way. So the person who is able to pass the exam is rated the most brilliant. Yeah. Education hasn't looked back to say, can we also give an opportunity to the person who is able to do? And I'll give an example. One time, we wanted to, there was an opening at Makerere University in the Faculty of IT. And that opening was for a junior, a teaching assistant, which is, the requirement is first degree. Now for me, in our wisdom, we were like, okay, we are looking for somebody who has demonstrated ability to pass on knowledge. The requirement is to become a teaching assistant is you need to have a first class. Well, it's really based on academics. So we advertise, we sit at the faculty, and I make a case for a young man who had invested quite a lot when he was in year 2. He was teaching his colleagues, like he was running seminars for students. And for me, right there, I was like, this guy, he has the ability to join the academia because he has the heart to teach.
Yeah.
So we make a recommendation to appointments board and it was rejected. And the condition was, for you to become a teaching assistant, you don't need experience.
You need academic qualification.
The person who was given the opportunity was from another university who had a first class
degree.
And yeah, I'll leave it there. So
how does that make you feel, like, Michael, when you probably you're seeing the difference between the reality and the deception, that all of them are placed in close proximity for you to see it, and how do you go ahead to convince, to say, look, this young man may not even ever get a first-class degree, but the impact of what he's already doing at this level is greater than the impact of the person who has a first-class degree. Is there a case like that?
He missed first class by not such a huge margin because he had an upper second, which is like second to first class.
Yes.
But the fact that appointments board threw this out, and guess what this guy did?
Yeah.
This guy went and set up a training academy in Wandegea.
Yeah.
And we were sending our students to go and do internship in his academy. And he met me and told me, he says, in his first cohort, he made a turnover of over, I think, close to 100 million.
Yes.
And a net profit of about 70 million.
Wow.
I'm like,
which the colleague of the first class degree from another university will take him so long to probably publish so many papers to try and get it.
Of course.
Yes.
But you see, that's where sometimes, and I don't blame university.
Yes.
Because you see, universities world over take a very long time. Like I said, universities are like elephants. They need to turn here. They will first go to Kisimenti, turn, and then come back. By the time they get to Kisimenti, it's 10 years.
The road to come back is 10 years.
By the time they come back here,
it's 20 years.
20 years. Yeah. This place has already moved to another point. And that's universities world over. The difference is that we're probably not copying up in universities like in Europe or Canada. I had an opportunity to visit a university in Canada. And they have already created positions of professors of practice. So, Eddie, based on the work that you're doing right now here, you would be appointed a professor of practice in the mass comm department because you are in practice. You don't need a first-class degree to go and teach.
Which is better than the person who is teaching without practice.
Exactly. Now, when you look at our education structure, you, other than the teacher, secondary, primary education, at university level, you get a first class, upper second, you're the one who is retained. You go ahead and do a master's, you go ahead and do a PhD, but you've had limited practice. In secondary and primary, the people that have failed to make it to university are the ones who end up in education.
Technical schools, yes.
And the technical schools. And there is the imbalance, if I could put it that way. So this guy goes into education not because it's a desire. It's because that's what is
pushed there
available.
Because he failed somewhere. The education system.
I wouldn't want to, because the education system defined you as less academic qualified to join university. But does that make you less competent in other fields? Probably not.
That's absolutely true.
Now, to change that system is not something that we're going to dream of. Like it's going to happen. And so opportunities like Refactory are there to demonstrate that we can actually remodel. Now, for me, the advantage I have is the agility. I am agile.
Yes, the flexibility
as Refactory. So, what is industry looking for? I change it. Now, my hope is that I then have the ability to infect positive infection here.
Yes, yes.
I have the ability to infect the education system to begin rethinking some of the stuff they are doing.
Wow.
And that is happening world over. That's happening world over. And we can coexist. We can coexist and say, okay, you do your main academic stuff, I'll help you in the skilling side, preparing people for the world of work. Yeah. By the time they realize that they can actually do both, like I said, they'll first go, 20 years,
come back. 20 years, which is 40 years.
Well, 10. Yes, 40 years.
Yes, the CEO bench will go for a break, and when we come back, we will be looking deeply into the question of you failed in school, but you are more excellent at practice, and you are better than those who got the first class. And of course, the studies are quite very clear. We've seen these people who are academically very bright. They say it's very bright, but they are walking and drinking, and they are mad on the streets. And the one who was never academically very sound in class is actually running a factory, or is running an industry, or they've built a conglomerate of business, structures, whatever we call it. That in itself is a disparity that needs a very big discussion to happen. And that's what that's what Michael Nietegeka is helping us to understand. It's also important to know that Michael has 16 years under his belt as a man who has been, teaching, but also at some point he was directly involved in setting up exams at Makerere University. And of course, who better discuss this when he's talking about refactory, reskilling people? We're live on Facebook, we're live on Twitter, and of course we're live on YouTube. If you're finding any problem on YouTube, on Facebook, please dive to Twitter, and please send us your kisses and disses. We want to hear from you. What are your comments about the education system and rethinking about the education system to actually fit the purpose that Michael is talking about? We'll be right back after this break. This is the CEO Bench.
An army of sheep led by a lion will beat an army of lions led by a sheep. That's a fake. Yeah. So let's be very honest about this thing, and really understand that you need to understand where you lie and where you fall. So it's very important for us to understand that leadership has to be definitive. You can't be laissez-faire. It has to be definitive. You have to be strong, just like a lion. When a lion meets an elephant or a buffalo or whatever, the buffalo and all these animals run away. And yet, by the way, they are stronger than the lion. They are heavier than the lion. They are more intelligent than the lion. They are taller than the lion. They run away. The lion, because of its attitude, it sees lunch. That is a leader.
Mr. Tonatra, thank you very much for coming to the CEO Bench. And I want to ask you, so if you were elected the President of the Republic of Uganda today, what would be your first State of Nation address? Now, as you look into the camera and close the show,
I think my first State of the Nation address would first of all to I think I'll just close it down.
Welcome back from that break. My name is Eddie Okila, and this is CEO Bench. In the studio is Michael Nietegeka, who we're talking to about repurposing education for, the job market in Uganda. I mean, you can talk about Kenya, you can talk about Tanzania, you can talk about any other country in Africa, but we want to focus here in Uganda. And this particular CEO bench is talking about how do we, reorganize our education system to basically fit and start focusing on more skilling of people and making sure that everyone that is out there is able to get a job at some point. Michael, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
I just want to take you straight to this question we've always had before. You've seen, these people who high school, primary school, in high school, they were always excellent. They always teach you. You don't understand SST, they are very good when the teacher finishes class like this, then they take you from that point.
Yeah.
And they never read. There was no this thing of burning books at night. They were always, they say they read 1 week to the exam.
Yeah.
And they always, win. They're always on top of the class. And then, they come out from secondary school, Namilengo College, Buddha Junior, or wherever we're going. And then the next thing we know, they're out of the university, and then they are back on the streets. And then you meet the person, you say, but this guy was the brightest guy in my class, or this lady was the brightest lady in my class, and they just don't look it. Then you find a guy who was like always the 3rd grade person in class. Okay, somehow in senior 4 actually got the 4th grade, and then they said you cannot continue to senior 6. Yes, and then you find this person is running a very serious business. They said, I went through this technical school, then from this technical school, I went to university, but when I went to university, I went and studied this thing, so I'm now doing this. In fact, I went to university much later, after 10 years of me practicing and working. And then you start to say, you begin to have this question in your mind, what went wrong? Why do we have this difference? You are in the skilling space with refactory, but also you are now more qualified to talk about this thing. Can you help us understand why we have this situation?
Yeah, like I said, our education system is one way, academic ability.
Yeah.
And so the opportunity for people to navigate to other areas is limited. I'm also not a believer of if you have failed here, then we must, like this whole approach of enterprise. We're going to teach people how to start a business, how to manage a business.
Yes.
Not everybody is crafted for business.
True.
Not everybody is crafted to run a business or to start a business. There are those of us who will be exceptional at running other people's business, not our business. Yeah. So if you were to ask me, we need to have, in business we call it pivots.
Yes.
So we need to have multiple outlets that if by the time I get to senior 4, academic ability is not my strength. So I can't memorize, it's not my strength. My strength is in working with my hands, doing stuff. Maybe I don't need to go to senior 6. I just need to go into that place called a technical college, or if music is my passion, if music is my passion, if sports is my passion, I need to take that direction. Probably I don't even have to go to senior 1. Yeah. I don't have to take the whole academic space. And it's that recognition that education is not about you being in this track called school. Yeah. That education is about making you a responsible citizen that can contribute to the well-being of the economy because you're productive. That's the essence of education. Now, having those multiple outlets then helps as many people as possible begin to see value in education. It doesn't matter which areas you're tracking in. There are certain fundamentals that you need to have. You need to learn how to live with other people. You need to learn how to work with other people. We then make those the foundational requirements. Because at any one time, those things are going to be critical. They're going to be necessary. So if you approach it from that direction, then you'll find people sailing in systems. They don't have to. I met a historian who is working with Facebook as a software engineer. But his first degree is history, his second degree is economics. He's never studied software engineering.
But he's working with Facebook as
a software engineer. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that, and these verticals are possible. It's not rocket science. We just need to recognize them. That's number one. Number two is that there is a lot of investment that is required to educate us, the parents, to think beyond law, accounting, medicine, engineering. We need to think beyond that education is not a vertical.
What we call the linear vertical.
That education is, like I said, making me a responsible citizen who contributes to the well-being, to the development of my economy, of my country. Now, whether I'm a musician, whether I'm a guy who is making noise by the roadside, the question is, do I have the awareness that I have a responsibility to contribute to the well-being of this country? Doesn't matter whether you studied physics or not. That should be the foundational stuff. Now, if those things are taken care of, then this guy who is super brilliant, but struggles to find relevance, and because he struggles, probably his wire has gone nuts. Also shows that they don't have to go through. I mean, we've seen people who have gone through education because
the world, the society demand for you to go through and to be able to approve anything you are going to do.
I mean, we've read about guys who have gotten their degrees below the age of 20 because the system there recognizes that their mental ability is far above the average or even close to the super. So their ability to process knowledge is way above. So they are not taken, you must go through the 3 terms of school. No. Are you there? Do these things make sense to you quickly? Can we test you at the next level? Yes. Can we test you at the next level? Yes. Can we test you at the next level? That level of flexibility,
you're saying, needs to be there.
Needs to be there. Needs to be there. But for that to happen, requires leadership.
What kind of leadership are we looking at, Michael?
Leadership that appreciates that people cannot be a box. That you must do 7 years of primary, 4 years of O-level, 2 years of A-level, 3 years of university.
Or 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. That leadership that appreciates that humanity is diverse, that humanity has a multiplicity of capabilities, but making sure that each of us can thrive and strive in the environment. Now, then what leadership does is create the environment. That's why you don't need to have done biology for you to be a nurse in the US, because they have come to appreciate nursing is care. It's not human medicine. It's not about understanding the chemical composition of it's understanding that nursing is about care.
And care doesn't require you to have so much in biology.
It's understanding that so you'll understand the human body, you'll understand. So if somebody says, I'm feeling this, you can process. I mean, you go to a massage parlor and somebody says, okay, where do you feel? And they will start pressing. And you're like, but the people you will say, okay, this one seems to know what they're pressing. The others, it's like, they don't care, really. Their work is to
press you and give you this.
If you say, So they, you see what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I get you very much.
And that's how we are evolving
Yeah.
and evolving rather fast. And,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that's the reason why at Refactory I don't require any qualification to enroll. It's passion, period. If you can demonstrate to me you have the interest and passion, you're in. Academic qualification added advantage.
Wow.
But I don't even look at it. I don't even say you have a degree, be this side, you don't have a degree this side. No, everybody there.
In the same hole.
Let's see.
Wow. This is the CEO Bench, and we're talking to Mr. Michael Niyitegeka, who is from Refactory, and of course, you know, the man at Clark International University, and of course the country, you know, regional
Country
manager for ICDL, which we always want to know what it means.
So ICDL is a digital certification program.
Okay.
And it started in Europe. And in Europe, it was called the European Computer Driving License.
Yes.
In Europe, when it started, the argument was you need a license to drive a car.
Yeah.
And so they also, the British Computer Society,
yes,
then also decided to say, wait, you also need probably close to a license to be able to use a computer.
Yes.
And so they called it the European Computer Driving License.
Yes, yes.
But because it's now gone beyond Europe,
yeah,
it's now called the International Digital Skills Standard.
Yeah.
The ICDL is used to be the International Computer Driving License.
Yeah.
And our primary focus is to equip people with skills to use computing technology for productivity.
Wow.
Because there are quite a number of people who have laptops, but they never go beyond Microsoft Word.
Yeah. And playing music.
If they're good.
Yes, on
desktop. Because once you go to playing music, then you can navigate applications.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's the reality.
Yeah.
Or PowerPoint. The people who they struggle with PowerPoint.
Yeah.
They just pick text and dump it there, but they don't realize that there's a science, there's an art around having captivating slides that people want to keep watching and following what you're sharing.
Wow.
So that's what we really focus on. Okay. In a number of countries, this standard has been made a framework of skilling. Rwanda, Kenya, Egypt, Nigeria, they've made ICDL a standard. So anybody who is getting into the world of work, you need to have this as your standard.
Wow. Well, I mean, Michael, thank you very much for so far. The first part of the show has been really very interesting. I have a couple of questions here for you on the Messenger, and I will start from a gentleman who says, Edio Killer, thank you very much for bringing Michael to the program. Part 2, I'm loving it. I waited for this moment to come. I've always had issues with an education system in Uganda and in most parts of Africa. We don't seem to focus on skilling. When you're in the African continent, you never see the gap until the day you step out of the continent and you go to another continent. That's when you realize it's all about skilling. I live and work in Germany. Germany is about technical skill. Germany is about skilling people. There is no job you're going to get in Germany when you don't have skills. When they say is an engineer, or you are an engineer who can do. I'm an engineer based in Germany, but my engineering is having a lot of repurposing and rethinking right now. I'm even back in school because some of the things they are able to do, I'm not able to do. Michael is spot on.
Thank you.
Edio Killer, thank you very much. I'm a Ugandan. I live and work in Nigeria. Okay, I moved in between Germany and Uganda. Again, the same thing Michael is talking about is true. The whole of Europe is about skilling. They will never give you, you'll never find an engineer or a doctor who cannot create or invent something. So we need to really think about our education system. And the question I have for Michael, how come it's taking Uganda, for example, such a long time with all these brilliant brains we have in Uganda? And if Michael is coming from Makerere University, why is it that the big university is actually not taking care of this? But Michael has left university in Makerere.
I left Makerere. Yeah,
so Michael, there is a question for you.
I hear him.
He's saying, why is it taking us too long to repurpose and to rethink about this thing moving forward?
I shared with you, Eddie, in the break, that it takes humility, especially from people who regard themselves as brilliant. Like you've passed, you're a professor. It takes humility for you to spend time with a guy who is in Katwe and he's recycling motors. It takes humility to bring that guy in and use that guy as a basis for your training. It takes humility. So the reason we are where we are is who. Let's go to the different entities or the different authorities. If you go to the National Council of Higher Education, brilliant people there. Majority of them have come straight from education, mainstream education or universities. They are managing National Council of Higher Education. You would want to see a lot of industry play there, because then they would inform whether these programs are fit for purpose. The same as probably I haven't had an opportunity to be at the National Curriculum Development Center, so I can't ably talk about it. But it's more or less like what we are seeing with some of these education programs that are coming through. So my starting point is humility.
As a country, we are not humble, or as professors.
Well, I don't want to say as a country. Remember I said about leadership? It is that leadership. To say, okay, can we sit and work out something that works for both of us? Because at the end of it all, I don't want the person who has studied in Uganda not to be able to compete favorably with somebody who has studied in the UK. So where do we meet? The middle ground is that I want this person to graduate and become relevant for the economy called Uganda. So you, the employer, called New Vision, when you are hiring a journalist, what do you look out for? So tell me the 5 things you want to see in any graduate. And how do I teach them? Because that's my practice. So it's co-creation. And so universities and any training institution needs to invest in that co-creation process.
Wow.
It needs to happen. Having been at Makerere and doing the things that I was able to do, when I left Makerere, I was like, is there a possibility to design a degree program that is able to, in IT, that is able to deliver a graduate who is responsive to the dynamics of this. And I was given the opportunity at Clark International University, so I was involved with another colleagues of mine. We designed a program called the Bachelor of Applied Computing Technology. And that brings all the 5 facets that I talked about into one degree.
In computing.
Now, I then spent time trying to understand how our ecosystem is designed. And I found there are basically 3 key components in our ecosystem. Component 1 is infrastructure. A lot of guys must be involved in infrastructure. Component 2 is component 2 is applications. Component 3 is business.
Which is very important.
So the degree program is designed on
a stratum of 3 things.
At the end of the 3 years, you will either come through the infrastructure piece, and that could have servers, could have cloud, could have, or the applications, which is about software development and that kind of stuff. And then business is how you deal with technology to sell technology.
Wow, which is what they're calling the business, the enterprise part of the technology.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, it's a CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okela, and of course we're talking to Michael Niyitegeka, Refactory. If you haven't checked out Refactory, probably go into the website and check them out. and of course they are there to skill and to, you know, close the gap in the education system. The CEO Bench is on this topic today, refocusing the discussion on how we can make our education system fit for our market. Michael, just before we go for another break, and something very interesting. I love another, you know, message here from another Ugandan. Seems to be many Ugandans working in Germany now. Edwin says, I live and work in Germany, Edio Killer. One of the things that Mike has talked about, which is key right now, is skilling. I wish I had learned and known the things I know today. I would be much better. Sometimes I sit here and I'm asking myself, my entire 3 years doing a degree, 4 years doing a degree as an engineer did not help me that much. I came to Germany, and in Germany everything is about doing it your way and doing it yourself. Now I needed to furnish my house, and I had no woodwork skill at all. Then I remember the only time we came close was something called art and craft, and that is the only skill I had, and it was short-lived. So I looked for somebody to put furniture in my house, and it was very difficult. Then I was told, this is a skill you don't need somebody to come for, and whenever you call the person to come and do it, it's too expensive. The next thing that I've always struggled with is plumbing. I now do my plumbing in my own house myself, living in Germany, because it's expensive to call that person to come and do that job, and they're extremely expensive. They're only hired by top big companies. So what Michael is saying, I like what Michael is saying about leadership. Now, can Michael break it down as a person coming from academia? What type of leadership is needed? Because we keep talking about leadership, but what kind of leadership? Can he break it down, knowing the intricate, you know, matters that lies behind these things that he's talking about? He's used some big English words right there, Michael. That's Edwin right there, you know, coming from Germany, and thank you very much. And we want to encourage all of you guys to basically share as much as possible, send as much as possible what you have, and Michael will definitely, you know, be able to answer it. Michael, dive into it.
Yeah, like I said, leadership that has that level of humility to appreciate that. You know, when I said when you complete senior one, what should be able to do on your own.
Yes.
When you complete senior 4, what should you be able to do?
Yeah.
I went to St. Leo's in Fort Portal, and we had a metal workshop with all these machines. So literally they could repair the beds. They could, like, the workshop was I think after I left, I went back recently, and metal workshop is no longer in existence.
They shut it down?
Yeah, because of the maintenance, the budgets and all that kind of stuff, and because the money they're getting from, let's say, the education ministry is not enough to support that kind of supporting. So let me give you an example. Before COVID, senior guys in senior 6 would complete exams in November, and they will not go back to school until September. And as a country, we didn't have any program for them.
Yeah, we all went through that. In fact, I think this has improved. For us, we used to go for 1 year and literally and a half waiting for exams to come back before you go to senior 5 and senior 6.
So, and yet, that is the time when you repurpose these guys. That's when you give them these skills for life.
In Europe, they go for national service.
Exactly.
In America, they go for national service. In Nigeria, I learned yesterday that there's something you go for national service when you are done.
Yeah, but you see, the challenge with national service has already been attached to military. It doesn't have to be military.
Okay.
You can be part of a road construction. You can be part of, if they're doing lorries, you can be in the guys who are doing the dams. The essence is that you get to work on a life project. And you're deployed. It could be, I was in Rwanda, and the youth in a given community are required to have one project. And that project could be building a latrine. That project could be building a classroom. That project, and they have to do it themselves.
And if somebody is going to supervise?
No, they supervise themselves. They supervise themselves. So that's the intentionality.
Yeah.
They're either going to tailoring school, like those 9 months. By the time you go to university, you must have a certificate of completion. That you either did tailoring, you worked on a road project, you...
Come to think about it, Michael, when I was young, when we were finishing school, there was this thing called secretarial studies.
Yeah.
And whenever we would do senior 4, we would go for it. And we learned how to typewrite immediately. We learned how to, typeset letters and, write official letters and how it's addressed. That's how I learned how to put the heading of the letter when I'm addressing. If you're addressing a letter to the president, this is how it looks like. If you're addressing a letter to, a mayor, this is how it looks like. If the formatting of the letter. Where went these things? We used to have them as secretarial studies. It's no longer there, and it used to be skilling. And we learned how to use typewriters.
Yeah, the role secretarial has since been taken over because I no longer need a secretary.
Yeah. But the skilling of being, of knowing what to do.
I agree. Yes. And so the CEO now has to type his own letter.
Yeah.
The question. and it's no longer a letter.
Yeah.
It is an email.
Yes.
You get it?
Yes.
So there's been a shift.
Yes.
And that's some of the things we need really to pay attention to in terms of reality and context.
Is there any, sort of like a skilling, program you have on how to structure digital skills? Email?
So we go back to digital skills.
Okay.
Because we've moved.
Yeah.
And part of communication skills that is taught should really be focusing on that. How do I give you a skill to help you
be able to write an email when the person reads the other side says it's a compelling email that we need to be part of this.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Michael and I will be diving into the last part of the show where we're talking about fit for purpose. That's what Michael is discussing today. It's a deep conversation. I've seen some people here from the US and from Canada. Somebody made a reference from Canada. I've seen Chris in Canada said, I'll have a question. I've seen another person coming up from Australia. So I'm going to read your questions. And of course, the Ugandan here, people at home, I know Facebook is a bit of a trick for you guys, but you can go to YouTube and send your kisses and disses or your questions or comments, whatever, whatever the case may be, and Michael definitely going to be able to get into it. The CEO Bench will take a break, and when we come back, Michael and I will continue from there. Stay right there, I'll be right back. What is leadership to you, JP?
So for me, the leadership, I would say there are different components, but the most important is the art of knowing people.
Yeah.
How you know your clients, how you know your associates, your colleagues, and all the different stakeholders that are part of the business. How you know your bosses, your investors, how you know the key people that bring you business, the key relationship you must have in a market in order to make sure that thing goes smooth.
Yeah.
So I think this requires an openness of mindset.
Yes.
And I would say that for me, the fact again that I have 2 cultures, I live in different places, it helps a lot.
Okay.
You find similarities, of course. If I see how Ugandans are and how Brazilians are, they are not totally alike, but there are a lot of similarities.
Yes.
If I see how a French person is, or a German, or an American, they are very different.
Yes. And
difficult people. I know by the French side because I have my French family. I worked in France. I worked with French companies. So I learned how to deal with this. And so it's and now especially this past years working for Sheraton Group, it's more like Anglo-Saxon approach of hospitality. So this also, so all these dimensions are very important. So it's knowing people, knowing the culture, the different generations you deal with, it's a very important.
Yeah.
It became more and more because the gap between generations have changed.
Yeah.
I would say, or I mean, people that analyze the market trends,
yes.
how things go. Before, a generation gap would be 10 years.
Yes, yeah.
Now it's shorter.
Yeah. It is a CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okila, Michael Niyitegeka in the studio, and we're discussing repurposing education for what it means to be or what it's supposed to be. In summary, I'm not even going to use much English to to try and bring this around. Michael, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Michael, we're in the last part of the show, and we just want to learn from you. A bunch of questions we're reading online are all coming as a result of people actually asking questions. Where do we start from? I have a very interesting comment here on Messenger. Eddie Okila, thank you very much for bringing Michael back to the program. I'm loving this thing. I stayed up late to wait for this program to come. I wanted to hear what Michael would say about his thoughts on education system as a man who has been there. My name is James. I live and work in Canada. Michael has quoted something very important. When you come to Canada and you look at the education system in Canada and you go back to Uganda and look at what we have, they are completely two different worlds altogether. In my view, Makerere University and any other university in Uganda needs to start bringing people from the Kwagalana group who have businesses, running serious business downtown there, to come and give the lecturers in Makerere University lessons. Or they should be given master's degree because they are teaching business administration and these guys are really practicing business administration and building. It is a disparity and a failure on our side to actually have a professor teaching what they have not practiced. These guys run business. A professor is teaching a business he has never been able to manage. How do we bridge the gap? Michael can help us throw more light in that.
Yeah, like I said, you see, education has, the ultimate goal of education is to expose you to approach.
Yes.
The guys in Kwagalana group are doing it.
Yeah.
But they may not give you a structure of how they are doing it. Yes. And what is that, and that should be the difference, that somebody who, and that's why people like Mandela, City Oil, are able to hire experts to come and run his business. He understands what he wants. He has certain principles, but Mandela is not going to the kitchen. Mandela wants the business to run. He wants the people that come to the restaurant to have a quality of service. And I think we should be asking ourselves the question, why are we seeing more Indians? And I have no problem with Indians in the hospitality business.
And it used to be Kenya.
But he told me, he said, look, the reason why I have these people is that because first they listen. Number two is when they do work, they do it with everything that it takes. Because they understand that their growth depends on my growth as a business.
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So the guys who are teaching tourism and hospitality at university need to spend time with
Amos Wekesa, for example.
Okay, so
tourism business.
People like Amos Wekesa, they don't need to take over the jobs of the lecturers. The lecturers need to spend time with Amos Wekesa
to understand
and contextualize their delivery
to fit the need.
Yes. The reason why at Refactory we have a 93% placement rate is simply because we have spent time with the guys in industry. Some of the people that are teaching on our programs don't have a degree, but they have on their belt projects they have delivered and executed. And so there's room for us to coexist. And that's one thing I really want to emphasize. There's room for us to coexist. There's room for universities to open up and education institutions to open up and say, you know what? We are going to focus on X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
How do we make this place a place for you?
Yeah.
So how do I tap the knowledge of Kwagalana? What the universities need to be doing is doing case studies.
Yeah.
And that's why Harvard Business Review, Harvard has what they call Harvard Business Review.
Yeah.
They spend time in industry,
yeah,
and then they document that, and that's how they transmit knowledge. I have failed to understand why we don't have that very many case studies in Uganda being taught in business school.
Maybe because we don't have the infrastructure that allow us.
What infrastructure do we need, Eddie? To
But
go
by the
and
way,
spend time,
yeah,
rather than teach about McDonald's,
yeah,
I teach
about
CJs.
Yeah. Okay. Now I understand your point.
Why can't I write about Feed Right?
Yeah.
What is Feed Right doing?
Yeah.
About African food or even K2 restaurant?
Yes.
From that direction.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Horace International.
Yes.
Yes. With
their rock, is it Rock Boom?
Rock Boom, yes.
Rock Boom is a case study, boss.
Yes.
It is.
It
should be a case study.
It is. I was counseling a young girl and who recently got a problem, and she got a sort of like a mild stroke, and I was wondering, and the discovery to her was, I'm using a lot of Rock Boom. So I asked why. She says, because the first time I drank the Rock Boom, something about it, and since then I have been drinking too much. I'm like, there's too much caffeine.
Yeah, so there's that aspect around it.
Yes.
But there's also a business aspect.
Yes.
There's something that he has discovered,
yes,
that has made him sell the product in the quantities that he is selling.
Which is exactly what, in essence, what the girl was saying. And we don't know what it is.
Thank
yes.
you.
Yes.
So what we need,
yeah,
is, as academician,
yes,
to spend time,
yeah,
with those guys, understand, document what we have understood from them,
yeah,
and then transfer that knowledge to our students.
Classroom, yeah.
Because then you're contextualizing.
yeah.
80% of the case studies that we have, because they are from textbooks or materials that we've picked online.
Wow. I was recently teaching, coaching Michael just not very long ago, about a week ago, and I had this. I had the privilege and opportunity to teach transformational leadership, which is at the core of my heart. It's something I really love. It's something I've invested a lot of time doing research. So I was giving examples of some of the leadership styles and the leadership, behavior to make them understand. And I remember in one of the classes last week, it was a 2-day class in a big organization in Uganda. In fact, about 3 of them. And one person stood up and asked me, this is a leader, and said, how do you go in to get this kind of information, yet we're in the industry and we're always having research and development? Says even we have information being released by people like Ipsos and all these guys. Yeah. But yet for you are giving us context and we've never looked at it. Then I asked him, I says, but the context is right in front of you. I mean, one of the examples I used was Bobi Wine versus Mzee Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and then Kizza Besigye versus Bobi Wine, and I used Kizza Besigye versus Mzee Museveni, and I gave them the context. And it was difficult for them to understand. And I was just trying to paint a picture of laissez-faire kind of leadership versus autocratic. And then I was trying to look at the transformative leadership approach versus a democratic leadership approach. They live within us, but it was difficult. So I realized, whereas some of us take time to study these things, and I am a collector of President Museveni's speeches from I don't know how long, and whenever he speaks, I go through it, then I make notes and I put these things there, and I love listening to all these things. And then I realized that the research and development, the way he designed in Uganda, is absolutely very different. It gives a totally different information. Now, you've talked about it, and I want to ask a question, Michael.
Yeah.
How do we help Ugandans to start going deeply to say it is okay for you to use an example of Michael Niyitegeka and the refactory case as a case study to move forward, to change and to repurpose the education system?
Do we teach for discovery or do we teach for remembrance? When I teach for discovery, the way I will deliver content will be totally different from the way I teach for remembrance. When I teach for discovery, I'm a facilitator.
Yeah.
I'm a facilitator of learning. I facilitate you to learn.
Yeah.
When I teach for remembrance, I teach you how to make the coffee.
Okay.
And the instance is, remember, this is how you
go do this coffee.
Yes.
Here. Yes.
When I'm facilitating you,
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. I then correct you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very tongue twisting,
Yeah.
very brain.
But that's
changing.
the essence.
Yeah.
So technically, what needs to happen?
Yeah.
We all need to change from being teachers to facilitators.
Okay.
And that shift is massive.
Yeah.
For it to happen and for it to be effective,
Yeah.
it means that you, Eddie,
Yeah.
needs to empower the student to take charge and step back.
Which is not usually a very good case for Eddie Killer to stop.
About authority.
Yeah.
When I step in class, I come with authority.
Yeah.
When I step back, someone else is taking over.
Authority. Yeah. So in summary, Michael.
I think to bring this whole thing to a close, my take is that, and I would really want to appeal to the lecturer,
Yeah.
the teacher, and say, we don't have to wait for the education system to change. We can choose to teach what we teach differently. And for me, that's what I decided to do, even in the system that they were. When I was in Makere, my classes, I was very intentional on how I taught my classes.
Yeah.
I opted to be a facilitator as opposed to a lecturer. Yeah. 2, I allowed co-learning. We learn together.
Yeah.
I am not the epitome of knowledge.
Yeah.
If you have learned something and you think it's beneficial, let's share it. That's the second thing, that come to the realization that knowledge is not housed in one brain. Yeah. Knowledge is
a combination.
God is gracious. Yeah. Each one of us has a portion of knowledge about some of the things. When you trigger people to go and search, they will go. When you trigger people to sit back and depend on you, they will sit back. I'll say, trigger people to go and search.
Wow.
You will teach the same things, but the outcomes will be different. Yeah. My final shot to those of us that are very passionate about education and want to change, when it is so painful with what you're doing, you'll do what I'm doing at Refactory. You'll choose to go against status quo. And I hope history will judge you fairly. When that time comes, I can say, yeah, I've trained about 300 people at Refactory. We've trained about, it's not only me, we've trained about 300 people at Refactory. We have about an average of about 70 to 83% placement. I can say I'm happy. I'm a very happy person because I know for a fact that the current placement rate for fresh university graduates is below 10%. So for me to be at 83%, yeah, I feel I can walk on the clouds, but I won't. There's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
And so each one of us has an individual responsibility for those of us that are in the education space.
Yeah.
And hopefully, each one of us can then create that summative change that we need to see.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Michael, for first of all blessing us with your presence and accepting the nomination from our people to come back. I know it's not been an easy journey for you, being a very busy person and what you're doing. We want to say thank you so much, and we want to say thank you for, you know, coming to the program today. And if we ever reached out to you because there's a need for you to come back,
no problem.
We hope that you'll be able to actually accept to come back. Personally, from us here at House of Talent, and of course from everyone out there, we want to say thank you.
Pleasure.
It's been a great learning of you know, a lot of things we didn't know from you on the show. From a host perspective, it's been a great moment to have you on the show. And to all you guys out there who have been, you know, with us on the CEO Bench and continue to be part of the CEO Bench family growing bigger and better, we want to say thank you so much. The great learning from Michael today, takeover, is to teach people to be able to research. Teach people to be able to research. That's the great learning there. And then teach people and step back and give them responsibility and see if they will do it and just correct them. But don't always be the frontline person and you are the know-it-all, the elephant in the room. When you are there, nobody says anything, you're not moving forward. And of course, you know, from the people in our education system, Michael has taught us one thing that is very important. Do research, think about people, look at what is in the market, look at what the market is looking for, and then be able to realign yourself to fit the need of the market. Other than that, we want to say thank you. And to Michael, we want to just, you know, bump this and say thank you very much for coming. And we're wishing you and the team at the Refactory really a great one going forward. We're definitely going to become your student very soon. And yes, thank you very much to the crew and to everyone. It's a good night or good morning or good evening, depending on which part of the world you're actually watching the show from. It's a wrap from us here. Michael and Eddie Okila signing out.
I think the challenge with some of the art forms are they're quite expensive and exhausting. When you talk about like video mapping, I mean, if you're a video mapping artist in Uganda, where would you get a job? He's gonna give you a gig, you know. So you are in it for a being.
That's why I was saying the new Africa France is open.
So
for this
I think,
year.
and also if you're a video artist here, you really. I mean, it will be really hard for you to get a gig in France or Europe because they are at a whole different level when it comes to mind, when it comes to skills, when it comes to software, because all these things work with software. Every time there's a new software, there's a new, it's like being on these apps that people use all the time. Everything, all the time there's something new. And how do you keep up with that? So some art forms would be really difficult for some of the Ugandan artists. And it doesn't mean that it's easy for the European or the Americans. It's also difficult for them, but what happens with them is that first of all, they have the knowledge, they have schools where they go to learn this, and it's recognized. It means that when they come out of those schools, they are respected because they learn that form of art. And then when they go out in the market and they don't have gigs, there is a system that helps them to survive. They are given some, capital or money to survive on, even if they don't have a gig. When they get a gig, they can declare that they got a gig, and then they don't have to claim money from the state. So
gig being business in
So if there was a system like that, and imagine Eddie or young people who are and every year there's also these opportunities, like every year there's a lights festival, there is a video mapping festival, there's all these street theater festivals. So it means that someone is working, even though they know they are not going to get paid all the time, but they know at the end of the year there is something they look up to. And that gives them the motivation to create that kind of content. But if there is no opportunity, there is no platform for them to show their work, then it becomes difficult for them to be motivated.
In whatever you do in life, you should never give up. One day you'll succeed, cause nothing comes easy in life. Sylvester and Abrams, we are never gonna stop.
Welcome back to the program. Lemera Ko right there, a song coming out from Sylvester and Abrams back in the days. The song that I love the most, one of the best songs, for me, from you guys. It has a lot of message in there. Lemera Ko Chokola. Whatever you do in life, stay focused to it. Stay. Don't lose your hope. Don't lose your grip on it. I love the song, and that brings me back to conversation we're having, Sylvester. And of course, we want to invite everybody out there, to welcome to the program, and of course share this link far and wide. Sylvester is here in the studio with me in Kampala, the capital city of Uganda, springing out to the rest of the world, and we're talking about running, hip hop music as a business, all right? Running hip-hop music as a sustainable business in Uganda and beyond. Is it possible? We've got Sylvester here, Kabombo, who is a Ugandan musician, hip-hop artist, a social entrepreneur, educator, freelance project manager, and an event organizer. Of course, right here on the Creative Industry Talk, we are discussing something very fundamentally important to the growth and development of music industry in Uganda. Subscribe and share it far and wide on our YouTube channel right there. Sylvester. Yeah. A lot of people don't know, that everything we do in life, we've got to be, consistent about what we're doing. Yeah. Take us through this song a little bit. What was the inspiration behind this song? Was it because of the background that you've told us? I mean, how did it come about?
Yes.
Lemera Ko.
A bit of that, personal experiences and experiences around us. Inspired that song, I mean, day-to-day issues that that we go through, not just artists but anyone who is out there having a constant battle to make it big in life, to achieve something in life. So it's a song that inspires everyone. That's why you find that even people who are not into music, they feel inspired by the song. So day-to-day issues that we go through. Of course, we had challenges then as artists, but at the same time, the song was directed to everyone out there.
Okay. Sylvester, we're talking about running hip-hop music as a sustainable business. Is it possible to run hip-hop music as a sustainable business? Does it pay the bill? Can a person survive on it as an artist, as a creative mind? Is it possible?
Yes, it is possible, but it takes several steps and players to make it happen. If you look at where hip hop music began and where it is now, there is a huge difference. First, then it was hard to even talk about hip hop business because there were very few players, very few people who had access to record studios, to professional music videos. So you find that there was that time for the sector to grow, to have people that you can count on for a very good show. Very few then had their own songs. Some were biting lyrics. Some were not having original music. So before even you get into that, you can't even talk about business then. But that era was very, very important because that's why we're talking about business now. Because that era of some of the artists that you've never heard of, but actually were very, they laid a brick, they put a brick, they inspired people. Some didn't have access to studios, but they did performances and in one way or the other influenced others to begin. So right now, like a lot has changed now. there's a crowd. When we started, there was nothing like a hip hop audience, like a hip hop crowd. Like how artists say now, no, I'm doing this for hip hop only.
Yes.
If you don't like hip hop, don't listen.
Yes.
It wasn't there then, because that audience wasn't there. We're fighting for the same audience.
Yes.
That's why you see that all those concerts I've been talking about.
Yeah.
The lineup had almost everyone.
Yeah.
Dancehall, Mosh, Mad Tiger, whatever. You understand?
Yes.
Two man.
Yes.
We're all fighting for the same mic.
Yes.
So there was nothing like, oh, I have a hip hop crowd.
Yes.
Oh, I have a dancehall crowd. It was just one audience. So you had to basakata muziki and win them over.
Yeah.
So right now, someone can comfortably say, oh, I'm doing this for the hip hop crowd, for the hip hop fraternity. That word wasn't even there. How are you going to use it?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying that those time we're creating the audience.
Yeah.
We're fighting for the audience. The competitions were in the same competitions with people doing other genres of music.
Yeah.
Same competitions. To a time now where someone can comfortably say, I'm doing this for hip hop.
Yeah.
Have a hip hop group where you have a database of hip hop fans. So, but that's because of the sweat and the time that the people came before put in.
Yeah.
So, so we're at level where you can say at least I can earn something from hip hop music or from hip hop as a culture. So we're at that step now. But now, finding ways you can do it is very, very important, because a business is a commercial activity.
Yes.
Means that if something is not commercial, it's not what?
Yes.
It's not a business.
Yes, yeah.
So how are you going to make it a business? That's where you have to look through, either get people to, understand that most of the time start as solo artists. You find that as a solo artist, you have to do everything.
Yeah.
Everything for yourself.
Yeah.
That era of, I remember way back, some people used to say like, I'm looking for a man, like that, like the statement, I'm looking for a manager, used to be very common then.
Yes.
Because people used not to accept that there are no managers until you do something.
Yes.
For
yourself.
Yes, until you do something for yourself. So it used to be a common statement for artists, I'm looking for a manager. Oh, I'm looking for a manager. I have music, I'm looking for a manager.
Yeah.
But the industry, our sector is different.
Yeah.
You have to do something. If you sit on yourself and say you're looking for a manager, then you never get them.
Yes.
Because most of the managers we have in Uganda, by the way,
Yes.
come after an artist has blown up.
Yes.
He has done something.
Yeah.
And then he's down hiring the manager.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for a manager who's going to hire you and then invest in you, that's going to take time.
Yeah.
So as a solo artist, you find that you have to do almost everything.
Yeah.
And then along the way people come and support.
Yeah.
So looking at your craft, how you can make a business out of it, either directly or indirectly, it means you need to, yes, you have to think, but you need a team. They might not be your permanent team members, but share a word with someone like, okay, how can we make this a business?
Yeah.
Talking
of that, by the way, Sylvester, I would interject a little bit to just say this to you. A lot of us out there, the young people, don't know that, the steps that you're talking about are very key. And the things that we're talking about here are not things that you find on the street very easily. I want you to share something that is very fundamental. Having gone through all of these things, when was the first time you first held your first cash hanging out of the music, you and Abraham's, and how did it work for you guys? How were you feeling when you first handed it and you say, this is coming out of music? Did you buy something for your parents? How did you?
First, before I get into that, I'm happy that we are discussing this.
Yes.
Because then there were no talk shows like this.
Yeah.
Most of the artists of that era, not just musicians, but even DJs.
Yes.
You had to learn by seeing someone do it.
Yes.
Because people didn't know how to teach.
Yes.
I mean, you can't teach what you don't know.
No, yeah.
So you find that for the DJs, you had to first lift wires and cables, and you see how it's done. But now you're pressing buttons, you don't know even what they call them. But because if I do this, it makes that. But if they bring you someone to teach them, you cannot, because teaching is a skill.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing for music, that we have a generation that can teach music.
Yeah.
You know,
but share the experience which they didn't. Were not given
then there were very few. Even just hearing of a work. Yes, we had professional musicians like Afrigos and the like, but workshops where I think I had never had a workshop from in that era, like someone holding a workshop for musicians to teach them how to write, teach them how to conduct themselves,
to brand,
teach them about leadership, personal development, interpersonal skills and stuff like that. That was unheard of, you know. So but now there are, you know, platforms that someone puts a platform just for that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a very good thing that we are discussing this, because it was unheard of then. Yeah. So it shows how the sector has grown. Right. First time, what was the first time? First time I grabbed. Well, there were a few, maybe the bigger amount, but of course the few small payments, you know, from small performances.
Yes.
But the first time I had something that was really good was in 2001. Yeah. Me, Sylvester Abrams, and our colleague Fredo, we featured in a play called King Oedipus by the literature play by the Sophocles. It was on the school syllabus.
Yes.
Yeah. So the director of Alliance Française then was a friend to the director of Sharing Center.
Yes.
And you know what used to happen at Sharing Center.
Yes.
So one time during the competitions for youth in the new millennium, they, you know, we're getting to the new millennium.
Yes.
So there was a singing competition, and the theme was Youth in the New Millennium.
Yes.
Actually, we won, Sylvester Abrams. We are one of the winners during that competition. So the director of Alliance was one of the judges. He liked our performance so much. It was very energetic, the composition. Then at that time they were doing that play. The play had very top names, like Phil Bruce Water, Bob Kisiki, Herbert Chinove.
These are the guys you used to look at from far and you admire and say, I wish I could even just talk to these guys.
Sabo, you know, and so many.
And I know there are some 6 more in there.
So many others. So we had no, that was 2000s. I think very few people had mobile phones then. They were still expensive.
2000,
2001, they were expensive. So we didn't have a phone. And now the director they discussed with the director of Alliance Sharing, Geo's board, and they would like to have us feature in the play that was still in its development stages. To feature with rap music, like in intervals.
Wow.
That was something new. I was like, well, we're very happy, but it took, looking for us was a problem. Remember, some didn't have a phone. We didn't have phone numbers. We didn't have phone. We didn't have phones, and so we didn't have phones. And if I remember well, some also didn't have one. So he had to find a way of looking for us. It was a challenge. So he sent someone to Kampala SS, where we were, to look for us and give us, you know, the news. Now, the most interesting part is that, yes, technology like mobile phones were not a common thing then, but there is a way we get, you know, we go to each other that is so interesting. These days, when someone's phone goes off, they're off. They're off completely. You know, you find a challenge looking for them. But then we knew how to go about some things that he doesn't have a phone. So where does he hang out? These days, we don't even know where some people hang out. You know, but then you had to know where someone hangs out on a Saturday. Where is he? On a Friday. And we used to connect with people. So some got us, we had the meeting. It was a very wonderful experience. And it was a sold out concert. It was 3 days. Schools came and they were left outside because the tickets were sold out. They asked for more like that we stage it again the next weekend.
Yes.
But that the director was like, I think it's just enough for those who have missed.
Yes.
Hopefully next time. But of course there was no next time. Yeah. But it was a very, very nice performance, sold out. Kids were screaming whenever they didn't even bother listening to what we were saying. Whenever we got on stage in the intervals, so we were rapping about what is about to happen, in question form.
Yes.
So we're not giving the answers.
Yes.
So the moment they opened the curtains, Sylvester and Abraham started screaming. They didn't even bother listen to the message.
Yes.
It was a very nice, because we were already big.
Yes.
On the local scene.
Yes.
We were not on radio and TV,
yes.
but we were big in schools,
yes.
in schools and public places.
Yes.
So just that name, Sylvester Abrams, whenever curtains opened, it went crazy. We signed autographs,
Yes.
I think that was my first time signing an autograph.
Yes.
Yeah, if I remember well.
Wow.
So the payment was really, really nice. The
I want to tell us how much was the first handing there, because we're talking about, is it possible now? Yes.
Yeah, I think it was, if I remember well, I think it was 400.
Yeah. Wow.
But there was a per diem for rehearsals to keep you going throughout the rehearsals.
Yes.
And that per diem, of course, didn't include food. It was just something for you to transport you.
Yes.
And of course, we got into the network of the of the Philip Swatters and
the big names now.
The big names, the playwrights, and all that stuff. So we got into that network now.
Yeah.
That was our first time to know, I think, if I don't remember well, Chinobe Herbert.
Yes, Herbert Chinobe.
I think it was our first time.
Yes.
Herbert.
Very talented man.
Yes. So Philip Swatter, we were seeing him on TV. So we broke into that network now of people, like the theater audience.
Yes.
We broke into the theater network.
Yeah.
So it was a very nice experience. I think it was 400,000 then, if I remember well.
Yes. Which is still a lot of money.
Yeah.
I wonder, what did you do with the money, by the way?
Of course, I wasn't paying rent, so.
Did you go back home, give Muse something?
I wasn't paying rent, so of course I didn't spend it in clubs. I didn't spend it in clubs.
I'm sure you went
back. But nice shoes. At least I've always spent on myself wisely. I've always spent on myself wisely. So just nice shoes, look good. T-shirts, and I don't remember what I did with the rest. But it was, and then after that they took us to a buffet. All the people, the actors, people who were involved in the production at Normal Gallery. Oh my God, that was my first time to go at Normal Gallery and not spend my money.
And you were eating at the high table also. Wow, so it is possible.
So it was a special treat that should motivate you. It wasn't even about the money we got. But the network we broke into. The audience. That's because you can spend the money today and it's gone. Yes, but how have you benefited from the people you've met along the way? That's very important. Your network is your net worth. So you can have the money, it can go in a minute. But how are you able to make that money again? How are you able to reach out to those people? So that was very
Sylvester, just before we go for a break, I want to take you straight to this last question now. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, of course, we're going to discuss a little bit more on the workshops now. So it is possible. I want us to put that question up there so that people can actually follow. We're talking about, running a hip-hop music as a business and sustainable business in Uganda and beyond. Can you run it in Uganda here? Is it possible in Uganda here? And can we do it beyond Uganda? Is it possible in your way, in your mind, in your thinking, and in your experience? Is it possible?
Yes. It is possible. But as I've said, it's a gradual process. It's a gradual process. Right now, I'm not as hungry for music or for success as I was then. That's why I keep telling the artists that I meet in these workshops that there are things that I cannot achieve, but you will achieve. So don't make me be the epitome of
your thinking,
of success. No, yes, we achieved, we played our part in the sector for so many years, But we're not the epitome of knowledge and success and everything.
Yeah.
You can go beyond us. You can achieve more.
Yeah.
You have to be hungry. So we achieve those things through challenges, through so many challenges.
Yeah.
But all those events that I'm talking about were paid events.
Yeah.
You know, we went to Zanzibar 2006.
Yes.
At the ZIF Festival.
Yeah.
I think ZIF Festival, yeah,
yes.
in Zanzibar. It was a paid experience.
Yes.
Then we performed. And so many, even within Uganda. So much as that, as I said this earlier, that yes, most of us aiming for the mainstream,
Yes.
be playing on radio and TV, that's what everyone would love.
Yeah.
But you can still make money even when you're not on the mainstream,
Yeah.
if you put yourself together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, it is possible, but it's a gradual process.
Yeah.
How are you going to push yourself?
Yeah.
Do you have because and I also keep saying this in the workshops that you need to know your people.
Yeah.
Either 10 or 100 fans that can buy your CD.
Yes.
You need to know them.
Yeah.
How many are they and at what price? So you don't need. There are people who actually believe in you. They don't have to wait for you, to play on radio and play massively. There are always those people that begin with you. So
who understand your music.
and this is what I keep saying.
Yes.
To the artists that we program at the festival.
Yes.
That can you bring 100 people? Because most of the times when we program them, they rely on the audience, like on the Baimba audience.
Yes.
Oh, Baimba has an audience. Yes, Baimba has an audience, but what can you add to the to the audience?
Because you have to bring your audience in there.
Yes.
Because those are the people who pay you. Those are the people who are
Yes.
paying so that you can earn money.
Yes.
Yes.
So whenever I've been lined up for a performance, I don't rely on the audience the organizer is going to bring.
Yeah.
I rely about my audience. Let him bring his,
Yes.
I'm bring my people.
Yeah.
And that's why when posters come out, I have to spread them.
Yeah.
So this is very important, that if you've been lined up
Yeah.
to perform,
Yeah.
can you bring 100 people? Do you have the capacity? Can you bring 100
Does your
people?
music speak that well? And
That you
appeal to
can bring
people
100,
and
just
encourage
100 people.
Yes.
Can you bring 100 people?
Wow.
Some people cannot even bring people to come and watch them for free.
Yes.
So that's when you have to check yourself. Can you bring 100 people?
Yeah.
Can you bring 50 people to come and perform at the festival?
Yeah.
Or at your concert anywhere? It's very important. That's where it begins.
Yes.
Before you talk about business,
Yes.
if you can't bring 100 people
You have no business talking about
to
business.
pay at least either 5,000,
Yes.
the lowest 5,000,
Yes.
then you can't talk about me. It means you need to continue nurturing your craft.
Yes.
So as much as talking about craft, business,
Yeah.
craft has to be nurtured. You need to have a database.
Yeah.
We have phones here filled with 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Are they really important to you? And I say this so many times,
Yes.
that you have people you've spent 5 years without hearing from.
Yes.
So you need to organize your data in your phone. Organize your phone. Can these people come? You have 2,000. Your phone is filled up. You're even writing on a piece of paper somewhere.
Yes. In other words, I'm
Scrutinize.
saying that if you have 2,000, they are not able to come. You
To
delete
come.
and put those who are likely
Yes,
to come.
yes. Keep updating. Phones should be like profiles, biographies.
Yes.
They have to be updated all the time.
Yeah.
So you have 2,000, the phone is full,
Yeah.
but when you send them a message, you can't even get 5 to come and watch you.
Yeah.
So those are that's where, like in simple, in simple steps, that's where business should begin.
Wow.
Nga tunagenda ate sogera nga yasoma nti
Yasoma economics.
nedda njagala mulimi oluli simple nti
Yes.
you have 2,000 people in
Yes.
your phone, but can you get 100 of those to pay 5,000 or 10 and come and watch you, buy your CD, buy your t-shirt, your cap? Is that possible? So we should first start looking into that. We fill these phones with people that don't even care about us.
Yeah.
Or even we don't let them know what we do. That is important. So
Yes.
position yourself where people can see you.
Yeah.
So I don't want to blame so much the contacts in your phone, but
Yes.
do they know what you do?
do.
Have you tried involving them? Do you update them? That is also important. So before you put the blame game, so have you played your role? So as I speak, I may not be the most successful artist, but if I hold an event, I have people who can pay. If I print a t-shirt, a cap, I have people who can pay it a very good amount without bargaining. You know.
I am one of them.
You're one of them, you know. And I don't sell my stuff cheaply, by the way. My t-shirts, my caps are not cheap. So if it's a concert, you know, we've held so many concerts with Abrams since way back. We've been holding our own concerts. I also said this, that don't wait to be cold. You know, start small steps. Get a small venue and hold like a small concert for your people who can pay. You know,
it's a small amount.
It's a small amount
of money
Start
that can
from
sustain
there.
you, that can help you build.
Because we've had shows for 2,000 shillings way back in the late 90s. But all those were steps to achieving what we want. Right now, I can stage a concert of 10,000 and I know people who are going to pay. There are those who are willing to pay and they're not coming. And they're like, Sylvester and Abrams, this is my contribution to you. I'm not able to come. You know, that's why you know you have people. So get a small crowd, a small venue, you know. Can you get 50 people there to pay 5,000? That's the first step. Now, this doesn't need even a manager. You don't need a manager to do this.
You just have to think through.
Go to the venue, you know. Take yourself as the brand. Meet the venue owner. Discuss. Do you have the numbers? You know. He's going to give you the... Well, it's easier for you to get the place for free if he's not contributing anything on production, that is sound, on artists. He can give you the place because he knows he's going to, you know, benefit. So it's easier. So those are the first steps. The people you have in your address book, Facebook, we have 5,000. That's why I don't have a second Facebook account. I keep deleting. I said it. I don't need what I need as a second option is a page, not a second Facebook account. If Facebook tells me I have 5,000 people, create an account. Another option is delete. I take the delete. Why should I open I have 5,000. Why should I open another one? There are people who are down there. Some accounts were closed a long time ago. I go through, I delete. I add more people. I've been doing that for so many years. I see people with 2 accounts, 3 accounts. I'm like, how do you handle 2 accounts? You understand? And you have the same people. There, the same people there. Some are new. If you see that is, you know, things are not changing, you know, then you have to review your network. People you're hanging out with. How are you associating with them? That is also important.
Wow. Sylvester,
so those are the first steps. 50 people or 30 people. Can they pay you 5,000? Can they pay 5,000 to come and watch you perform?
Wow.
Before endorsements and everything, that's the first step.
Wow, thank you so much. This is the Creative Industry Talk. I'm talking to Sylvester Kabombo, who is a Ugandan musician, a hip-hop artist, an educator, an entrepreneur, and of course, a man who is talking and sharing the nuggets of truth of the things that he practices every single day. Creative Industry Talk will take a break, and when we come back, we'll dive into the workshops, basically leading us to what Sylvester is talking about. How do we get there? Many of you out there don't know how to get there, don't know what to do, but you're a creative thinker, you are creative, you're artist, you are a thinker, you are a creative mind, but you don't know what to do. You have a music, you have an art piece, you have something that you are doing that is a product that can go out there. Sylvester and I are going to come back after the break, and we're going to be talking about workshops and what basically happened in the workshops and what is the product of the workshop whenever we hold them. Stay right there. Creative Industry Talk. We'll be right back after this. Now, I want to take you to Sylvester's new song, or the song that we have always heard before, Omulia Mamba. Or, you know, I don't know which one you want to play. You know, the things that he talks about are songs that make sense, that people can buy into. Stay right there. I'll be right back after this break.
okola erinnya kulinga nfudu ate okulyonoona munya musubi sikya kabi tusabe omutonzi atusomose awabi naffe tweyambe munno mu kabi avumaganya ekika mulya mamba ali wonna mulya mamba weerwaneko mulya mamba erinnya lyo alyonoonya yawamba avumaganya ekika mulya mamba ali wonna mulya mamba weerwaneko mulya mamba olwatuuka ab'oluganda ng'otulabira long ego echanna mukaka wali Orlando Road go bayitanga seeka yali mukwata mpola nnyo nga mu kubanjeza enjuta kukaka yes nali mpankisa uwe waka ng'omwezi gugwako nga tukyaseka eyo ewamuze iseeka nga tewetugambula okuba kubanja nze n'emnanca twajja kyanca kanyama nga ketulya ku kyenkya lwali lumu omu kubapangisa yasiwuka empisa olw'engeri gye yeeyisa yaduka ne sente z'obupangisa emyezi 2 teyakwatibwa kisa siba kisa lwe lwasemba landirodi waffe otukwatibwa ekisa wowe yemamba bumaganya ekyalo abantu bakusongamu olugalo buyegwe kyalo ku kyalo abumaganya ekikaatu munoonye nalo yemamba bumaganya ekyalo abantu bakusongamu olugalo buyegwe kyalo ku kyalo abumaganya ekikaatu munoonye nalo bandi mukukuuta era nga gyendaga natera okutuuka nempulira awogana n'enkyuka okulaba anyirira agudde mu kinnya ng'akibuuka teyakisuka mu bimpimpi takibuuka nze nasookayo okumuyamba n'akibuuka masina fulumya kigambo nansooka kumanyi yegwe Sylvester mwayimba akaseera akayimba kanyuvu bambi onyirira olabika kavu kambuuze ofaayo bwe kyomanye nnyo ebikukwatako nfaayo nnyo kituufu ddala bampa akaseera naye tebyagenda bulungi olw'embeera mbamanyi abayimbi muli benzi nesonyiwa nafuna eddenzi erimponya abateezi avumaganya ekika mulya mamba ali wonna mulya mamba weerwaneko mulya mamba erinnya lyo alyonoonye yawamba avumaganya ekika mulya mamba ali wonna mulya mamba weerwaneko mulya mamba.
You've got to be, I've said it so many times, but you've got to be a positive big head. The parents, mommy was doing that not because she didn't want me to pursue my goals, but she did it to protect me. To protect me, she wants the best. Every parent wants the best for their child. But you, the child, it's the onus is on you to prove to your parent that you're actually going to put your very best foot forward and try, as you may fail, to be a success story, whatever success would mean. Money, achievements. For me, it wasn't money, because also that wasn't told to me as a child. I'm just learning now that money is a good thing, and I should love money.
But it's not everything.
But, oh no. Money is very important. Now that will be another topic, but I'm having to unlearn the very Catholic background I came from, to unlearn the teachings about wealth and money. Okay. Let me tell you, money is very important, and every child should know, without money, certain things can't happen. Dreams are gagged and stagnated, so money is very important. So I won't sit here and talk of money is not. I've learned a lot at this level of maturity. I can assure you that every African parent must buy their little child that book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Let's start there. Let's learn to talk wealth. Let us learn to talk money in a very positive way.
Ugandan products are seen, however good a Ugandan product is, in the eyes of the people, it's always going to be mediocre. Okay, we always say, man, these things are made in Uganda. Okay, so I think the same could be applied to the coffee in Uganda. How can we change people's perspective? Because I believe that if I say put a coffee from Uganda, very good coffee, and I brought another, let's say from the States, someone will obviously run towards the one of the States without even analyzing which one could be better. Just that the fact that this is made in Uganda. How can we change the perspective, okay, of Ugandans to actually start supporting Ugandan products, you know, in reference to the coffee industry?
So that's a good one. Actually, it's not only Ugandans struggling with that. Many countries also, the Israelis think foreign is best. Yet for us, we look up to Israelis. So it's a common thing amongst citizens of different countries. You think foreign is good because it has come all the way to here, you know, champagne and all that stuff. Yeah. So, so one thing is the Ugandan people also have to imitate the standards of the competitors.
Yeah.
I look at coffee brands. You reach the supermarket, you look at how we are branding Ugandan coffee, and I will assure you that 90% of them are not going to cross the border to even Kenya. We have that cliche packaging of valve packs. It's standard, yes, we understand. It's standard for coffee, but you all having the same thing.
Yeah.
When I was at university, at the Chamber University Coffee Association, and Meiko and Haman and the members, we created a brand, but also used the same valve packaging. It's something we did at undergraduate, but you find someone has invested 1 billion, but still packaging in 1 million, 1 million kind of packaging.
Yeah.
We need to imitate excellence if we can't make excellent products, if we can't make excellent packaging. Get our coffee, package it like they do. I usually give an example of, you've seen how the Vietnamese pack their coffee, or the Thailand pack black ivory coffee. This is not expensive packaging, but you just have to have the patience of understanding packaging and branding. Let me give you an example. We used to do the packaging, valve packs, put a sticker. Take it to the supermarket. The supermarket will tell you, we are not paying you until we sell. I used to be mad. You know, Haman was our marketing manager. We used to be mad that they are not paying us. They're actually surviving on us. But in actual sense, they were taking our coffees, adding it down the shelf, you know, with other many brands of the same packaging. Then they put the foreign brands at the corner where there's maximum attention. And the foreign brands, of course, they are paying cash upfront. For us, first sell and then pay you. In the end, the coffee gets stale. Now, when a consumer comes to the supermarket, and I know many guys who don't take supermarket coffee, is that you go to the supermarket, you're buying coffee that has spent 3 months, 6 months. It is stale. Because of the packaging, and also the grocery managers have put them down in the Kayola. So if you have to attain the boo-boo, if you have to boost coffee consumption and people support our brands, we need to do top-notch packaging, world-class packaging. I don't want to talk about what we presented at the World Coffee Expo, but to be sure that no one is going to buy it, or no one will even take it for free. Because it is so cliche. This is packaging of 30 years ago. But the good news is that there are few Ugandans who are aiming for excellence, looking for that, you know, niche packaging, and they are getting markets in Europe and North America. We can do the same. That's how we're going to compete with, you know, Brazil and Vietnam.
here at Lunkul Island for yet another edition of the camp. As we always do, we ran a call for application months back, and so many artists applied up country. The boot camp is multilingual, so we welcome different cultures, different languages, for a free expression. As we always do, the first week is more of lectures and songwriting. And second week, the audio studio. Second week, we have very few lectures because we want to give the artists more time, to write, because at the end of the first week, the songs have to be ready. So they need more time. So that's why we have less lectures in the second week and more lectures in the first week.
So today, we were looking at music business. And in music business today, we are looking at what's the relationship between songwriters and artists who perform.
Welcome back to the program. My name is Eddie O'Kale, and this is the Creative Industry Talk, streaming live on House of Talent TV on YouTube. Go there, subscribe, and share it far and wide. We got over 1.8 million people in diaspora. All those Ugandans who live in the diaspora, we want to say thank you so much for being part of the Creative Industry Talk, growing bigger and better. And of course, we're live on Twitter. For all those of you who are cool people on Twitter, please go there, drive, and listen to Sylvester speak here. Creative Industry Talk is live. We're streaming live on Facebook. Go there and share it far and wide. Subscribe and be part of the creative minds growing bigger and better. Of course, in the studio with me today is Sylvester Kabambo. We are talking about running hip-hop music as a sustainable business down here in Uganda and beyond the Ugandan borders. And I think Sylvester has been able to share quite, an enormous story right there about doing this and being successful. And one of the things we picked from there is that you have got to be patient in the process, but also need to follow. Now, we're going to the part where we're going to be welcoming Sylvester, first of all, back to the program. And we're going to go straight to a moment where we discuss some of the nuggets of truth of things that we need to share. You've talked about the workshops. You've been holding workshops for a bit, and then with Bayimba and yourself, we want to know how that goes. But before I go there, I want to just read a few comments from here. Otherwise, people will kill me. And I want to start from a couple of guys. I see a man here said, Omunako Munako, based in Germany, says, man, that is my guy from way back in DV8. I've always loved the duo. And of course, they are my original guys. Those guys are doing a great stuff. I have another guy here called Frank, all the way in the United Kingdom, says, I stayed up, stealing in between work and this to basically see this show. I have gone to the bathroom to watch Sylvester. Shout out to my brother Sylvester right there. Oh, wow, Sylvester, thank you very much. And Selena Nataro says, big up to my big brother Sylvester. Lemerako has been a big hit. Yeah. And still he is, and still Lemerako.
Thank you.
Titan Mukisa said, thank you very much. Selena said, keep going. I've got another gentleman all the way in the United States and says, Eddie O'Kale, thank you very much for bringing Sylvester to the program. I live and work in the US. I'm stealing in between my night duties here, and I really love what Sylvester is talking about. I wish that Ugandan musicians were as real as Sylvester. I think that the hip-hop music industry has always been the best, but the problem is noise keep leading the way. I don't know what Who's that? Yes. He said his name is James all the way. I think James Chintu. Noise keep leading the way, but there's things for
James,
me.
James, you're breaking my ribs, man. James, you're breaking. Let me take some more. You're breaking my ribs.
Yes. And of course, I'll read one more, guys. We don't have enough. I've got over 200 and plus messages here. Another person has said, based in Canada, Eddie O'Kale, thank you very much. I love this creative industry talk. I don't know why we don't have it, every single day. I think we should have these guys come and discuss every single day. But on a serious note, guys, hip-hop music has a place in our society and is one of the things that completely change our society. There are young people out there in the society that needs to express themselves. Seeing Sylvester speak like this and going back to the days of DV8 when I first saw them and Sharing Youth Center and the product of Sharing Youth Center, it made me feel like I am back home. The stories is talked about growing up and the way they used to express them, though they're still the same. They have never been able to try to become American or to be Canadian. Yeah. And the lesson for many people, Eddie Okila, if you ask Sylvester talk about that, why is it that they have not been able to change to become Americans or to try and become Jamaicans? They are still real boys from Kawempe. Well, guys, so thank you very much for coming. I want to say, though, to everyone here that, Creative Industry Talk is a very conceptually grounded and contextually applicable weekly television program. Yes. Our job here is to seek influence that patterns, to basically influence the patterns in the creative industry and the thinking pattern of people. To say, look, how are you thinking? In the cultural space, how are you thinking? How are you doing it? Can you share your story with others? And that's key for us. So we discuss challenges and opportunities that lies in our society that we need to fix without having to punch or point a finger to anyone. Yeah. And of course, I want you to subscribe, being part of this team, Going Big and Better. Sylvester, we need to get back to this thing. We got about 20 minutes to end the show today. Yeah. We're even extending the show for you because people are requesting. Yeah. Let's go to the workshop. We've seen you come and talk about Lunkulu. I've seen that video you're talking about. Yeah. What is this workshop about, and why are you doing workshops now? What do we aim to gain from these workshops?
These workshops have been running for a long time, since 2011. Yeah. From 2011 to from 2016, 2011 to 2016, we're doing countrywide workshops. That is, taking the trainings to the people, as far as the remote areas, as far as Karamoja. So these workshops are very, very important because they give an artist an opportunity to have a first-hand tutor or facilitator, that one-on-one thing. Yeah. As I've said that during our time, we were just watching things on TV. Yeah. Listen to a song, you don't know, how someone gets to it, but you just listen and find a way of learning. Yes. So it was a harder way to learn. I also talked about DJs. Yes. Lift speakers, they don't show you that this, just see, but not, like someone taking you through the steps. Yeah. So, so that's how even like the industry was, but people were learning by gambling, trying out this, trying out that, but you don't have someone who gives you a guide. Yes. Like guide.
This is how it is done. This is what you need to do.
Yes, this is how you need to do. Yes, this
the step by
how
step.
The steps to write a song, yes. How to arrange it. Doing research before writing a song. Yes. Research about the topic. Make sure you have a broad way of tackling it and things like this. Yes. So those sessions where people give you an opportunity to, to have such experience, was unheard of. So these trainings, and in most of the areas we took them to, were the very first there. Okay. Like in Karamoja, they had never had like an arts workshop, yes. Where someone brings a DJ machine, PC DJ,
a recording studio.
Software, to use, and recording studio, and they give you a direction how to use it, how to write a song, the basics of dance, like all those things. So then we're doing so many things, yes. Not just music, but graffiti, other elements of hip hop, like graffiti and DJing, yes. And breaking. Yes, yes. So we went to so many areas, and it was a very good experience because we're also learning new things from these, from these people, and of course hearing their experiences that you're the first here, we've never had such a workshop, or, it's a very nice thing. And from there, many artists picked up along the way, started their solo careers, and they, I can say they're doing well now, and they have also impacted more lives. So then from along the way, 2013, we started, the hip hop boot camp. Now the boot camp was different from these other workshops. These regional workshops. They were for someone that we see has outlived the regional workshops. Someone who has outlived, someone who has performed well, someone who is more focused. These other ones were for everyone who wanted to attend. But then we're like, okay, so the boot camp, let the boot camp be for that person who really wants to pursue music, who wants to pursue art, who wants to take it on seriously. So that's why there was a different criteria for someone to get in the in the boot camp. So, and we ran that. It ran from 2013 to now this year 2021. We're at Lumpur Island. But the purpose of this training was, first of all, for the artists to network, learn from each other, learn fast, get first-hand information from industry players. That's why we have different people who come and teach in different, different things like, music and music and online, digital marketing, songwriting, creative process, live and studio performance preparations, things you have to do before you hit, hit the stage. You hit the stage, you hit the studio. People who have experienced, so they come and share. We also have case studies, and these are people from different genres, not just hip hop music. Because to come and share this idea. Because there is knowledge that is general that you should have it. So, and reason why we bring all those things, because we felt that you need more than just a good song to make it up there. You need more than just
because
a good
you can
song.
have a good song, and if you don't have all these elements and facets together, then you are still going to fail. We've seen people who have very good songs and then they come one-hit wonders, disappear, and they don't know what to do.
And of course, through the submissions we receive at Bayimba, we realize that some people, lack it. Like some people need guidance to write, to write profiles, like a press kit. Like to organize their
what you are giving out to the public.
Because you find that someone tells you that they want to be programmed, when you ask them to send their information, you find that they don't have good photographs. So these sound like minor things. A profile, photographs, contacts. But if you don't, if you not
small biography about
they sound very simple, but actually they are very, very important. Because when people keep submitting, that's when you see that this one needs guidance here, this one needs guidance here, this one needs to have professional photographs. You don't have to wait for a phone call to have professional photographs. You need to have them ready.
Every time I ask artists, I said, can you send for me a portrait photograph for this? And they says, then they run to the studio to go and take one.
And
but
you
they
find
should
that,
be there.
And you find it's not good. So organizing your press kit, having a professional, a good artistic profile that is updated, having the knowledge of how to use social media. This looks simple as well, that you have your phone, you have internet, but do you know how to engage?
What are you posting there?
And do you know how to engage people on social media? Do you know how to engage people? So we have different professionals that come and teach these things. They look very simple until you tell someone to apply. And then you start calling them, no, this photo is not good. No, this photo is, just send a portrait. Just do this. So we feel these are very important elements in someone's success. Putting yourself in order. And
in order for you to run music as a business and a sustainable business, you need to put all these things in
all things in order. If you want to apply to a live music festival, don't send music videos. You've heard that? I repeat it. If you're applying for a live music festival, why do you send music videos? They don't want music videos. So all these are preps that we take them through.
Yeah.
That if you want to apply anywhere, first do a background check. Yeah. You know, of where you're applying. Yeah. How long have they been there? What do they do? What do they consider? All those things, and put them together and send the application. So all these sound like very, very simple because someone has a phone, they have the music, but organizing and studying the event you're sending to, what do they want?
And of course, you don't need to use your cousin to do this thing. Some of us want to use our cousins or our judges to do this thing, but you need a professional person to do that. We're going to take a moment to just look at the video of the workshops, and I've seen some videos from Sylvester there, to just see what do they really mean by this thing. And if you're an artist there, send us your kisses and disses coming. If you have a question for Sylvester, please drop it in there. We've got about 5-10 minutes to end the show, and we would want you to basically talk to us or to hear from you. Let's check this video out. We're going to sample a couple of videos from the workshops just to tell you how to show you what this really is and how it is important for you to be part of it.
mama nayenda foke dokita kusoma mazire emirimo eyangire kokomayira Uganda yaitwa n'umwana ntwaize buli hamu kyonka kunyambale mere baba hekwasama no kubaze bitalimo ngwiwe zara abandi nguswerwa kyonka ntaikale hasi kutunulira omusanani gugwandumbire hasri teira amarap abantu bagasimire ngugondi mu bootcamp kambobere haflo mwane no survival hip hop kanjo nabingi tena kuno
kata kuku ama juju bukuku slaying you with a fumu ukileta compare remember I let the rose mini idi kuku jumping kama kangaroo in the game jina langu ni babu takusambua kwa mazishi watakuimbia tarabu wanadamu takukula kama chapu chacho mini tabu survivor leta kisu taleta saba coast my story be told in a few days we ain't equal we can never be the same I'm the major key fame has a price I won't pay the fee dunondese dugambo balite banjagaliza kati basebere ngalinye katunti ngava zoda bomulambo tinamu mukagazale yomunana mama kaba tukabatiza tone tondo kuchenyirwe na soka okunava pamochekata basomeza nkozesa music okubulira yogede bitufo sigale yala bachamu ewafebe bakulira kandi so buyimba inspirational batazi naka jaga studio nebezibe kwanga tibabiwulira tubazi yava mu kirembo.
Songwriters and their publishers. What's the relationship between songwriters, their publishers? What's the relationship between artists and the record label?
Guys in the camp were really excited about the session. They were eager to learn because we're learning about the role of PR and branding for a hip-hop artist. It was quite interesting to hear their stories, where they're coming from, and I shared with them what branding is and what they need to brand, to know who they are, to know their values.
We've been looking at this topic, personal development. And the whole idea about personal development is someone to realize as early as possible the kind of person he wants to be, the kind of profession he wants to take, which professional line do you want to pursue, and in that particular professional line, what is your goal? Can you
now? There are so many things to accomplish. Some are way after the boot camp, you know. Yeah. So we first of all, the first thing is the moment they get here, the network is created. They have known each other. Some have known each other on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and now they are meeting each other for the first time. So it's really a great feeling. So after here, we expect them to keep in touch. That's why we have a Facebook page and a Facebook group for former, boot campers, if I may use that word. Meet new people, network, record music, do collaboration.
I was invited for the Hip Hop Bootcamp 2018, and I came as a beat maker, basically. I linked up with a team 2 teams actually, and we made some beats. And we are at the Hip Hop Bootcamp 2018. We're trying to craft some hip hop beats, and I got my team here with me. Yeah, I got my man Gray Hair right there, and his team. We are coming up with an instrumental from scratch. Yeah, and we already have a concept for it, and I'm quite confident that these gentlemen are going to pull it off. I appreciate what the Hip Hop Bootcamp is.
Wow, Sylvester, let's talk about the multilingual. I mean, this is really a very great piece of work. You've talked about multilingual, and we've seen a girl there singing in Lutoro. That's the first time I've never heard of a rapper in Lutoro, in that language. So yeah,
no, I know. Actually, she was rapping in no, that's
Runyoro.
That's Runyoro.
Runyoro, yes,
Runyoro,
yes.
Yeah, but it being a multilingual platform, it has also introduced us to, languages, more and more languages, because it's an expression of culture. So people come with, different languages. For example, like the first time I had Kumam. Do you know that there's a language called Kumam?
Kumam, yes.
Kumam,
yes,
but
it's between Teso and Namo, yes.
But it's a tribe of, like they have a small population.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the first time I was like, wow, what language is this? And she said there were two guys, they're Kumam. Yes. And they featured on the 2015 album. Yes. And it was sounding so nice that you're forced to ask what language it is, you know, and it sounds so nice. Then there are some languages, you know them, but you've never had someone, use them in a song as an expression, like Lugisu, like Kejong, and so many others. Yes, others who've grown up listening to them, but we've never had someone, using them in a rap song. So it has been an eye-opener even for us as organizers, listening to different, expressions in various languages. So we welcome everyone, to express themselves freely. And Faisal Chua, the director of Baimba, the first time he had Big Ben, one of the participants in the 2013 Boot Camp. He had him rap in Lugisu, and he thought it was a language from South Africa, like one of those languages from South Africa. Like it was sounding so nice. It was like, wow, what language is this? Is this from South Africa? So that's how it is. It has been an interesting journey as well, that we're discovering these languages. We know them, but we know it's a different way when someone uses it in a song as an expression. It's a very good feeling.
Wow. I mean, I want to take a moment and just before we close to just play another video right there, and so that we can see what happened in the boot camp. I've seen some videos of a lady rapping right there. Let's get into that video, and of course we're talking to Sylvester. We'll be right back after this, and after this we will definitely talk about your comments if there are any, and of course how you can get through to be part of the workshop that Sylvester is talking about, and how important it is for your musical career as an artist.
If you can't handle the pressure, then you're a fighter.
Mukuzarwa nkakirotera ngoba ndafoka rapa kukura nkuzire mama naye ndafoke dokita kusoma mazire emirimo eyangire kokomayira Uganda yaitwe n'umwana ntwaize buli hamu kyonka kunyambale mere babahe kwasama nokubaze bitalimu ngwiwe zara abandi ngusero kyonka taikale hasi kutunira omusanani kugwandumbire hasi nteira amarap abantu bagasimire ngugondi mu boot camp kambobere ha flow mwane no survival hip hop kanjo nabingi tena kuno Mama banji bato bo
don't love the ball. Get your pangas, get your tools, we can't wait anymore. The streets hungry cause these niggas couldn't leave it alone. Believe it or not, it's no set for you anymore. Raising up like no the others kinda got me on top. Thinking of top, but Grammy told me never to stop. I can't paint my own picture when I can't get a crop. I'ma rhyme till it drop, that's the legacy prop. Monza shanda da nyama when shina. When reba shina. Kana huma nya shina, hoka sa shina, waka na shina. Mbonte do jibraba shede. Kama ya kashin zira, hungo bada honinga kumishebe. Tima ne huse, bakana huma nya na numwene. Mbide de yena, goda de yena, mbabo hui kosasa. Linda linda wanda hui, tani kana goma kwanzoli. You want them bawe since I can no manyo okay. I came my soul conquered, I never went to sleep. I'm getting this kind of feel like a pain, whatever. This ambition so priceless, I can Black MC.
My culture.
Arua Town represent
the voice for the people.
Gulu Town representing
my culture.
Tita Town represent
the voice for the people.
When the voice die, I'm a bianzi lubara diandra jodi bako drozwa. Onreti bo biamu kose makuniri mozwa. Bazinze koka laku karile zwanzi piedra kozwa. Lekwa paraka twaza Zambaru ibalio guruba miriti kilibuletia Kani myoko gunyani buplilia baji myombetia Njita kwa risurwa jwa hata tedwa gata mida data Tamize zata, I'm the one representing the voice for my people. Moruko hip hop, niperia meje chonga viku mizia dungu Ifu maria koyo maturata Aso babo basi maganga gata Surumedwa viku inga mupere ngwati.
Wow, well, you're listening to, of course, the sound coming from the, the boot camp. Sylvester, we even have a Luma Saba rapper. We have a man rapping from in Kakwa, and then there's one rapping in Lugbar. Yeah. I mean, these are languages, and they sound different. I mean, I almost thought that the boy was rapping in Luma Saba. He's actually rapping he's an American rapper. I was starting to sound like American. And until when you said it, that's when I paid attention to it. Let's talk about this.
But it shows that we know these languages by names.
Yes.
We know them by names. That okay, the Bagisu speak Lugisu. So we know the language by names, but not by sound.
Yes.
So that's why when they are put in these songs as expression, they sound like something new. And they are very rich. They are very rich. The fact that someone listens and then he asks, what language this is, it means, he's really interested. So that's, we're over 52 tribes, in Uganda. So it means those are over 52 languages spoken, So there's so much. We are rich in culture, we're rich in languages. And you find that when you fuse or you make use of these languages, you speak to the person that is down there, in the village down there, and you reach out to so many people. So making it bilingual, because we didn't want to like restrict people. So that's why you find that some songs have English there, some have Swahili. Some are Ugandan, but they grew up in Swahili-speaking communities, and they feel easier to express themselves in Swahili. So we make it easier for everyone to come. So there is no bar that limits a certain language for not being part of it. And I think I want to talk about was the collaborative sessions, collaborative writing, and collaborations. It's one of the the sessions that we've had at the boot camp. And reason why this session came up is that artists always like to collaborate. That, can I have a collabo with you? Let's do a collabo. And what the person thinks about first is writing a song and going to the studio, not the life after. And I told the artist that first you need to organize yourself, and them being there, like at the boot camp, we're always there for 2 weeks. So you're recording music together, you're featuring on the songs together. It means you need to understand collaboration, that you're bringing a percentage and the other person is bringing a percentage. So after the collaboration, and this is the reason why most artists, like the big artists, turn down people who ask for collaborations, is because they think about only contributing the lyrics. Everyone is going to contribute lyrics. Yes. What's more than that? Yeah. Draw your plan. Either finance the video. I mean, make that big artist, persuade him to get on the track with you. Yeah. Apart from you being good, he's also good. Yes. You're all good. Yes. So what's beyond that? Share your network. That, hey, I have a network of DJs. I have, a network of radio presenters. Yeah, I can finance the video, So make him interested being on the track. Because if you're saying you're writing, he's writing, it's just not enough. Yes. So, but these are things that artists don't take into.
What value are you adding?
What value are you adding besides your lyrics? Yes, because he's also providing lyrics. Yes. So what value are you adding? So artists don't normally think about value addition. Yeah. And when they are turned down for a collaboration, they get pissed. They're like, asking for a collabo, he didn't accept. Yeah. But did you look into the things that can persuade him? Yeah. What value addition beyond the lyrics? Because he's also going to contribute lyrics. Yes. But since you want him on the track and he has a bigger name, then it means you have to contribute more than your lyrics. Yes. You understand? Yeah. Pay for studio time. Yeah. Pay for his transportation to there. If you remember how Peter Miles used to do the collaboration he had, he made the artists comfortable. Yeah. To those Jamaican guys to get on the track with him. Yes. They were very comfortable. The convenience and all those things. So those are very important. And as I said earlier, that we have all these things there at the camp to show artists that you don't put so much focus on only the song. Yeah. Look into your network, look into your friends, look into your organization, how organized you are, how the preparation, even before the song comes out. So all these are important and they should be put into consideration for you to have a firm ground. Yeah.
And just as we wind up, Sylvester, I just want to ask you to say, how does one get into the boot camp or to the workshop to get there? If I am an artist or a creative artist, I don't know, how do I get to this? And then what is the process of qualification? How does one get there? I'm watching you from, deep down in Nakapiripiri, Chana Mukaka, or wherever, I don't know, or in a village somewhere, Yam, I don't know. How do I get there?
First, the boot camp is annually organized at Lunkulu Island. Yeah. Before it was held in various, various regions of Uganda. We used to have it organized in various regions of Uganda until when Baimba acquired the island. We felt that it's a very conducive environment. I think you've been there. Yeah. It gives you a peace of mind, and when you get there, even like you limit the distractions because you can't easily come. I mean, you can't easily come and go. There is already a barrier that we're surrounded by water. Yeah. So meaning that it's not easy for people to take you away. Like I've seen some workshops that are held in Kampala. Yeah. Artists normally move out. A phone rings and an artist moves out of the workshop. Yeah. It happens so many times. So at the camp, there is time to concentrate because you're surrounded by water. So you come there knowing that you're going to be there for 2 weeks. Yeah. So, and of course, before I forget, it's supported by Africalia. I'd like to thank Africalia for supporting it. And locally implemented by Baimba. So well, this year has ended, but of course it has been very, very challenging. The initial date for this year was in Feb. We're not able to hold it. But next year, in case we are to have it next year, please, the call will be put out, and of course the criteria that you need to, follow to be selected. You can visit our Facebook page, Youth and Hip Hop Uganda. Yeah. Like it, follow it in case there's an update. Yeah. Surely you'll be the first to know. Yeah. Instagram, Youth and Hip Hop Uganda, at Youth and Hip Hop Uganda. No, it's at Youth Hip Hop Uganda. That's Instagram. There's no and. One word. Yeah. At Youth Hip Hop Uganda. Then YouTube, youtube.com/Youth Hip Hop Uganda. So follow those, and of course Baimba pages as well. Yes. Because if there's a call, we always spread it to all our pages.
Yeah.
So like them, follow them. You will be the first to know when the call comes out. And of course, you'll be given time to prepare for what you have to submit.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Sylvester, for coming. We've got to have to toast, you know, to this moment of the show and to everyone. Yeah. We're going to have to toast. We want to say thank you very much for being part of the show, growing
Toast
bigger
to
and better.
greatness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to all of you guys who send us kisses and disses, thank you very much. We've seen some of them here. We'll not be able to read them, but next week we'll definitely read some of the comments. And we want to say thank you to Sylvester and thank you to Baimba and to all our viewers out there, to the sound crew, camera crew, and everyone here. We're signing out. Creative Industry Talk has come to an end. Edio Killer and Sylvester Kabombo. Until next week.
Sylvester Ne Abrams. This goes out to our fallen soldier Pitek, aka Paul Mwanda, and to all those people in the everyday struggle. Mulemereko.
Yokolanga biganye, lemerako. Abatagaliza basuse, lemerako. Kumikiriza, lemerako. Tuli balumungo wangudde, lemerako. Yokolanga byesibye nnyo, lemerako. N'abatesi beetawula nnyo, lemerako. Kumikiriza, lemerako. Tuli balumungo wangudde, lemerako. Mu buli kintu wabeera wakufiriza, abamusanyu kyokola bwe bakiyimiriza, era atambula akwogerako nti takukkiriza, oyo mugereko mpola yagala kuzikiriza, wezimba buli kyogulirewo kimunyiza, kasita otegedde bambi tomala budde, anyiga ng'okulaakulana mwesaleko, gwe tolekera okulana manyira omuyiteko, kola bibyo teekayo omwoyo, balinyuma ebyafaayo, ovudde wala nnyo kati olinnye amadaala, era ofuna sente ezikuyisa mu lunaku, olya onyirira tokaaba nnaku, sikugwe weka aboogeddwako bangi, kati tolekerera ssaala kubanga kyekijinji, boogere nga bamala budde oliba ofunye siringi. Byokolanga biganye, lemerako. Abataagaliza basusse, lemerako. Gumikiriza, lemerako. Tuli balumungo wangudde, lemerako. Byokolanga byesibye nnyo, lemerako. N'abatesi beetawula nnyo, lemerako. Gumikiriza, lemerako. Tuli balumungo wangudde, lemerako.
final games coming to an end. We're waiting for the playoffs, and from nothing at the beginning of the year to a lot of basketball towards the end of the year. Today, with me to discuss is the coach of Livingstone Basketball Club, based in Makerere University, Mr. Eric Matovu. Very welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Eti.
Yeah, it's very good to have you here.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
I know that coaches have a very busy schedule, standing in the sun from morning.
I know.
And all these things, but thank you for coming through.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Mr. Eti.
Every time we call coaches, I know that sometimes you have busy schedules, but just taking off time to come and discuss the game of basketball and the development of the game in Uganda is a very good thing. Going through your profile, I know that before, you ended up with the Livingstone Basketball Club.
Yeah, true.
You were coaching the Lioness, that's the girls.
Yeah.
You also coached Watoto.
Yes,
I also know that you have a basketball academy that you're working with. So your life is basically filled with basketball. So you wake up, eat, sleep,
we live and breathe basketball.
So outside basketball, right? Is there any other job you do, or it's 100%?
I think it is 100% basketball. I'm a teacher.
Okay.
I'm a teacher at British School of Kampala, and I'm a PE teacher.
Yeah.
So apart from that, also another job that I do it's a full-time job. I'm a married man.
Yeah.
So I call it a full-time job. I'm so proud of it. So I think basically that is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So growing up, did you ever think, this is what I want to do in my life? Because I know that our parents tell us, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, and then you ended up somewhere being a basketball coach, which in Uganda is not seen as a very serious thing.
Absolutely.
So what was it like for you growing up? What did you think you'd actually become?
I dreamt of being a pilot,
and
that's why I did MEG at A level. Ended up doing a lot of accounts. I'm an accountant, but you see, this world will push you to ends that you won't even think of. Absolutely. So I chose my passion, and I'm pursuing it passionately. So we live and breathe basketball, and it's what we're doing. That is what is bringing bread on the table. To me, I am enjoying it. It is so nice. It is so nice.
That's interesting. So talking about your basketball journey, you've coached a couple of teams, especially in the lower divisions. What was your experience like? What was your first experience coaching? I remember my first experience was they just threw me out there in the deep end and said, that's the team you're coaching. And I had very little knowledge about basketball. At that time, I was just more of a player, not a coach. But I had to learn really quick, how to become a coach and a player at the same time, So how was it for you? How did you end up? Where was that start of your coaching career?
Oh, I started with matching the shooters, and to be honest with you, I built them from scratch, and up to first division. We worked with Roger Seronyugo, and we brought it up. But to be honest, it was a roller coaster. It is a whole lot of learning. When you start to coach. And I believe basically that it is you, the coach, who learns more, even the players that you're coaching, more than the players that you're coaching. So it really humbled me, and it made me become a man. I usually tell my players that, if you want to be the greatest player out there, you've got to behave like a servant. If you don't have humility with you, and you don't have the discipline to push you, you cannot go any far. Those are the things that will push you. I tell them, I usually use one phrase, that you see all these accolades, the degrees, the profiles that you have in life, they will take you somewhere. But can they sustain you there? I don't think so. So it is your character at the end of the day that is going to sustain you in that place. I always tell them, if I call for a training session and I tell you being at 3 or 4, why don't you be there earlier, 15 minutes to time or 30 minutes to time, and the coach finds you when you are good to go. You are ready. You put in some work already. That shows that you know what you want in life. So it is a very, very learning experience, Mr. Eti. It humbles you, and it makes you become a leader in life.
Interesting. So it's always exciting to know the journey of a coach, where they started from and where they are now. And every coach has their own philosophy. Some maybe you copied from someone else, but what has been your coaching philosophy throughout this time that has carried you basically to this much success? Because different coaches have different philosophies. So what is that philosophy for you as a coach?
Me as a coach, my philosophy is literally, you know, a mixture of very many.
Yeah.
I'll look at very many coaches. I'll look at very many coaches from the university. I'll look at the Mountains. I'll look at very many coaches abroad. I'll look at Phil Jackson. I'll look at this one. I'll look at this one. Then I'll come up with my own.
Yeah.
I won't say that I have a definite philosophy because I mean different players react differently to different philosophies. You may carry a philosophy, but it won't work for certain players.
Yeah.
So you have to adjust as a coach. You have to know who your players are. What are they able to pull up and do? You won't say, I'm so rigid that this is me, my philosophy is I only play a transitional game.
Yeah.
A transitional game, and that is what I'm going to do. So you find players who cannot run. So what are you going to do? But they are very good on the ball, but they can't run, they're not athletic. So won't your philosophy change?
Yeah.
So I'm a combination of very many different philosophies from different coaches,
Yeah.
and I usually execute my philosophy according to the players that I have in that structure or in that program at a particular time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of coaching, the coaching fraternity in Uganda has always had a lot of pressure on them. We've had FIBA instructors coming in to take coaches through certain clinics here and there, but it's never really more than a month. Okay, and I believe that you can't really learn everything about, you know, coaching basketball within a month. Okay, and in some instances, people say that our coaches are not that good, they're not that experienced. Take an example of the Silverbacks. We had to go outside Uganda to get 2 coaches to come and help with the national team. Okay, so what's your comment on coach development? Okay, we'll talk about player development later, but coach development in Uganda, where are we lacking and what do we need to do to make better coaches actually in the country so that we can grow this game of basketball?
I think we are somewhere right now. I think we have very many coaches that are really experienced. I'll be honest with you, and I believe we do even have coaches that have reached the level 3 of FIBA, not per se on level 1 or level 2. They have a lot of experience, but it's just because of the structures that have been in place. The structures have not were not on our side to be there and exposed and get these certifications and all the things. But I can assure you, Mr. Ete, that we have very many coaches that are really doing a very tremendous job out there. Very many coaches. When you look at the time they're putting in, the resources that are available on the table for them to execute whatever they're doing, I think we are somewhere. I'm just curious if we had the same resources like people abroad, I think would be fun. People are so passionate about this game. People love this game. They literally do basketball a lot. So at the end of the day, there isn't so much difference between them and us right now. Honestly, I don't believe even that we should be jumping so much on players from abroad and all that. The players here can do the job. They can do the job. It's just because maybe we're getting a little bit ambitious and all that. But what I know is with time, even our players, homegrown players, we're going to be having them on the national team and they'll be representing like 90%. 90%. So we have very many good players. Very many players are coming through. And it's a good job that they're doing.
So during the time of the Silverbacks, when they were playing the tournaments in Rwanda at the AfroBasket, there was a group of people that believed that we should actually have only homegrown talent on the Silverbacks team. And yet others were of the view that it's okay to bring players from outside. Okay, some of them, if they're actually Ugandan, some who are naturalized. Okay, so which camp were you in?
I would say I'm Ugandan a little bit, even myself, but the dynamics change, Mr. Eti. When you look at the players that are coming in, who are playing from abroad, the Ishmael, the Opongos, the Wad, I think they added a lot of value to our team. Let's be honest. But it doesn't mean that we won't get there, even homegrown talent. There. But you look at the confidence, the way they were playing and all that, they added a lot of value on our team. So we can't take it for granted. We still needed them. We do. It was a very good addition to have them.
Yes, backtrack a bit, still talking about coaches. You do realize that in Uganda right now, if I'm to say, there are about 3 female coaches and only 1 in the NBL. Coach Mavita. So do we have a situation whereby there is we're not encouraging the ladies enough to get into coaching, or the ladies just don't want to get into coaching because of certain issues here and there? Some people say that ladies do not want to get into coaching because the emotional side takes the best of them.
Because they're driven by intuition all the time, that's what we're saying. But the truth be told, I'll be honest with you, I think the ladies have been laid back so much. They've been given chances. I mean, even National Council of Sports calls for very many ladies courses, and they've been given chances even to improve their administration skills and all the things. Template that we are on also eating from. It's just because, and we have very many who have played the game, but you see most of them the moment they go into other institutions like marriages and all that, they tend to be caught up so much, and they won't have the freedom that we have. Most of us, we can juggle here and there, but the ladies most of the time realize that, you know what, there is so much on their plate, they have to do this, they have to do that. That's why most of the time they don't evolve in the game like how we are evolving in the game.
Okay, interesting.
But given more resources, given more structures, more encouragement, and from the federation, the federation is also trying, it's doing its part. So I think we'll have the numbers. We'll do have the numbers, absolutely.
Speaking of the federation, I actually wanted to jump there next. For the whole year actually on this show, we've been trying to analyze the different problems that the federation has, and one of the biggest issues we saw was the issue of finances, because if you look at the campaign of the Silverbacks, you know, the qualifications for AfroBasket, then the saga that happened with them in Rwanda, where they didn't have enough finances to even pay for, you know, the hotels. So according to you, you've been in Ugandan basketball for a while. You know, I know that you have a perspective that you need to give. You have a different kind of analysis. What are some of those problems that you see FUBA as a federation is facing in Uganda, and why have we really failed to develop that much as other nations in Africa? Yet we have actually one of the best leagues in the African region. So what are some of those problems that FUBA has that has limited the growth of basketball in Uganda?
I think if we do not nail down a concrete sponsorship package, I think that is where all our problems are starting from. I remember way back we used to have MTN, and they could give us jerseys and you know, this airtime. Remember those days, when you used to play for that airtime, that passion, you know, playing for that airtime. You know, it was a small package, but it was coming in. And then, you know, Airtel comes in and everything changes. Then we start to miss out the jerseys and everything. So I think we need a concrete sponsorship. I think all our problems are starting from the finances bit. So if FUBA can get some sponsorship, then I think our league will be the best in Africa. Will be way better.
Yeah, but I mean, one can argue that we actually had sponsors. There's a time MTN was on board. There's a time Tascalite was on board. We had Airtel on board at a certain point, you know, but we ended up losing, you know, all these sponsors. And right now, I think the game of basketball actually does not have a sponsor. Apart from the last year's playoffs where UAP came and actually sponsored the playoffs. Apart from that, you know, we lost all the sponsors.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
and it's affecting us, especially us who are dealing in the lower league a lot. It is really so hard on the people running these teams, the managers and everyone. They have to meet here, chip in for transport for players, you know, allowances and all that. It is really a hassle. So we need sponsorship in the lower division.
Young people at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials. And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand. Remember Prince?
So I used to love the way our barista used to present his cups. For example, one day he presented some nice coffee. It was a cappuccino, very nice, presented. And I asked him, how do you make this? He said, you go to a school and study. So I used to love the passion he had. So I said one day I should learn this. So I kept on serving his orders. But I found out that most of the orders were according to the way he was feeling. You know, baristas present their cups according to the way they are feeling, according to the mood. In case he left home when he's sad, he's not happy, you will see the results in the cup. But when you see something beautiful, just know he's so happy. So the passion he had and the love he used to put in the cup really encouraged me to join the school. Not until I got to learn about Isaac at the Pro Plus. Then I came with some of my friends, so we are now doing the course.
Welcome to the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. My name is Emmanuel Ateng. How are you doing? Is it morning? Is it evening? Wherever you are, that doesn't matter. It is time for coffee. And like I said last week, in the UK they say anytime is tea time, but here on House of Talent Television we say that anytime is coffee time. Welcome to the Coffee Break Show. Remember, you can catch us live on our socials, that is on Twitter at HTV1, or you can go to our Facebook at House of Talent TV Uganda, or you can go to our website houseoftalenttvug.com, or you can catch us on YouTube at House of Talent UG. Live stream, make sure that you catch the show, and if you know there's a barista, there's a roaster, there's a farmer who should be watching this right now, let them know, tag a friend, share it far and wide. Well, today in the studio with me, I have a man who is a roast master. He's a double certified barista. I don't know how someone gets double certified, but we're going to get to know more about that. He's a trainer, he's a mentor, and he has more than 5 years experience in the coffee industry. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Mr. Chibuka Lawrence. Lawrence, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you here. Thank you for honoring our invitation to come here. I know that it's not an easy thing because on Saturdays people actually always want to rest. I know that the week can always be long, but thank you for coming. Just to start off, what does it mean to be a double certified barista?
Okay, first of all, it's nice to be here. Thank you for hosting me. I was eager to come here. Okay, Chibuka Lawrence, as he said. Most of my friends know me as Barista Reno. Yeah, that's the industry name. Okay, to be double certified, it means you have the barista skills and the barista knowledge. Plus also an extra knowledge of coffee brewing.
So that's what it means to be double certified.
So
are there people in the industry who are just certified, like a single certification?
Yeah, many of them.
So people actually need to up their game and get into a double certification. Also, on your resume or your CV, it says that you're a roast master. In the world there, when someone says a roast master, it goes into comedy, like roasting someone. But what does it mean to be a roast master when it comes to coffee?
Okay, when it comes to coffee, to be a roast master, it means you specialized in roasting coffee. So you understand the bean itself, how to turn it from green to a consumable product.
All right, before we get into all the roasting, I know people are very eager to know what roasting is, the process of roasting, how does one become a roaster, We just want to get to know more about you. We know that you're Chibuka Lawrence, roast master, double certified, mentor, trainer, all these things, but who are you when you're not doing coffee?
Okay, when I'm not doing coffee, I'm taking coffee. Okay, coffee is my life. Coffee is my life, starting from years back. I was in janitoring, what we call housekeeping, in some hospital there. But I got a friend, a bro. So he told me about this coffee stuff. So I tried to catch an interest in it. So from there, I've never done anything else apart from coffee. So it rescued me from where I was. So when I'm not in coffee, I'm taking coffee.
So coffee was kind of like your salvation.
Yeah.
Okay. So still apart from that, what do you do on the weekends? Do you watch football, play football? Do you do research? You know, what kind of hobbies do you have as a person?
Okay, as a person, I watch football.
Yeah.
Also keep myself like updated.
Okay.
Updated.
Yeah.
Like I make more research.
All right.
That's why I keep upgrading.
Yeah. In coffee. So in football, which team do you support?
Manchester United.
So Manchester United, Arsenal, all in the same boat, you know? Yeah. People are saying that Ole should go. Are you of the same view? You think he should stay? With the bad record they're having right now, you think it's okay?
It's okay. Today you're having a bad record, tomorrow you're up.
So you guys are hoping that.
Yeah.
It's always good to have diehard fans. We had an Arsenal fan here sometime, and you know he was of the same perspective. Yeah, but anyway, this is not a football show. This is a coffee show. So, getting into roasting more, I believe that you were first a barista.
Yeah.
Okay. So when was it at that point that you decided and said, you know what, I just don't want to be a barista. I want to be a roaster also. What pushed you more into the roasting bit?
Okay. It's not that I didn't want to be a barista.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to upgrade. As I've told you, like I keep myself upgrading.
Yeah.
But it reached a time when you research about like the skills, the coffee skills, where youths are, like of my age, they are in baristering.
Yeah.
And there are few roasters. So there was a need for someone to enter in that sector and also inspire others, because it requires a lot of reading, a lot of research than the practical.
Okay.
So I had to enter in that sector.
You had to open the way for others, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about roasting, okay, we know that the coffee chain basically starts all the way from the seed getting into the ground, the farmer, all the way to the cup. Okay, somewhere in the middle there you have different people who play different parts. Okay, you have the roasters, the baristas, the quality control, the graders, and all this. So when it comes to you, the roaster, okay, I believe that you have to pick a certain kind of coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start our process from there. Okay, you go to a farmer and say, I'm a roaster. Okay, how do you pick the kind of coffee that you, a roaster, would like to work with?
Okay, that's a nice question. Okay, as a roaster, when we are studying, we start from the seed.
Okay.
That's where the complicated part is.
Yeah.
We start from the seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go to an institute or an academy, they start you from the ground. You do quality control. You also process. Then you cup. Then you go to the general roasting.
Yeah.
So when I go to the farmer, since I have that knowledge of the quality controller, it gets easier to choose the good quality of the beans that I'm going to roast, of the beans that I'm going to use.
Okay.
Yeah, but not leaving something behind that every coffee is good coffee, even though it is undergrade.
Yeah.
We will sell it to.
Yeah, we had a barista last week who said actually there's nothing like bad coffee.
Yeah, there's no bad coffee.
Can't even sell that one. So what does the roasting process look like? You know, from the beginning all the way, you know, to the end.
Okay, roasting process is generally like turning the green beans, or those are coffee beans, from their green state to the consumable state.
Okay.
Yeah, but it involves use of heat, use of mind, use of eyes, the nose, and concentration.
Okay, so I believe that there are certain steps that you have to take, okay, in the process. I was reading there are about 3 steps, okay? Yeah. So what are these steps that you have to take as a roaster for you to get the beans to where you want them to be?
Okay, first of all, we have what we call the variables. Like, there is what we call the changes, before you go to the steps, the changes that have to be in your mind. First of all, you roast with your passion.
Yeah.
You have to put your passion in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure you're in a secure place. your fire extinguishers there. Your gas is already there, and the machine. So the steps are: you switch on electricity first. The machine, you switch on the electricity first. Then you switch on your gas. And wait it to heat up. You wait for the machine or the drum to heat up to a certain temperature. Then you decrease it a little bit. Then you put your beans inside.
So, talking about temperatures, okay? I believe that when you're roasting, there are different kinds of coffee that you will get. Okay, you will get the light roast, you get the medium roast. Okay, so what are these different temperatures that you have to put into consideration when you're roasting?
Okay, first of all, let me highlight this. Let me first advise my friends. We have the specific temperatures, the numbers that we are written in books, but we are different people, different minds and different passion. When you conquer that machine, when you're the one driving that machine, there's a way you concentrate on the coffee more than the temperature. Of course, they don't have to be down and they don't have to be so high. So it requires the mind, not the specific temperature reading. Like we are in a specialty world, world where we have now to appreciate the work of our farmers. The world where we need to get that sweetness from that particular bean. So if you concentrate on the digits, the temperature digits, you will miss what the farmer did. So we put our minds on the changes of the beans from state to state, not the temperatures. But we don't leave them aside. We just balance the temperature. We balance the temperatures. So it's like misleading someone if I tell you 180 degrees Celsius. In 4 minutes this one will happen. And if you do that and it doesn't happen, I'll be the liar. So you have to use your mind, you have to use your cupping skills so that you get the best out of that coffee. Even though it's light, medium, dark, you just have to use your mind, your cupping mind. Yes. You see the changes, you feel the aroma, like those fumes from the coffee. Then you see the color. So these are the major parts: eyes, the nose, and also you keep testing.
So with what you're saying, that roasting is actually a combination of science and art. Okay. So the art part comes in with, I think, experience. Okay, because if you get a first-time roaster, you will be so worried about the digits and the time. Because in school they'll tell you, you know what, this degrees for this amount of time, so they will be so focused on that. So what you're saying is that you should have passion, and that passion should drive you towards, what you're roasting, and it will come out in, I believe that when you do that, it will come out in your own kind of way. Okay, so with roasting, there are certain recipes, that you come up with. All right. If you could just tell our viewers which are some of these recipes that you can come up with, what are some of these aromas that you can come up with when you're roasting, and what kind of roast will give you what kind of aroma?
Okay. Thank you for that question. First of all, what you call a recipe in roasting, like we call it the roasting curve, the profile. We build that roast under profiles. So we record every changes from the start to the end when we're doing sample roasting. So that curve or that profile that you do, it is your recipe. Like I don't know how to enter in that recipe because I don't want to scare my friends to join the industry. But the first thing you all do, spoil. Never get scared of spoiling. When you're doing that first interview of baristering or roasting. Baristering you pour and something doesn't come out. For roasting you can burn, you can bake. But to follow that recipe,